Hello, Nick family. Welcome to the channel, Dope Soul Sports Talk, a member of the NBK Network. Today we're talking free agency, Brunson, Hartenstein, and also with the changing landscape of the Eastern Conference. Even though we signed those two guys, are we better? Right? So I'm here with I am Jarrell for this special, this Friday night special, and let's get into it. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Salute to you, Steph. Salute to everybody in the chat. I'm happy to be here Friday night. I'm feeling good.
Yeah. We're gonna drop the link as well. So anybody who wants to jump on and give your views, you'll be able to do so. Let's just start in general. Just your thoughts on the Knicks free agency, signing Brunson, signing Hartenstein, the center who recently played for the Clippers.
I like the moves. We already kind of knew that this was happening. Um, Last show I talked about the relationships between Leon Rose and Brunson. I think it would have been not a fireable offense, but we would have been in trouble if we wouldn't have got him with the type of relationships that we had with him. He's like his godfather, for God's sake. So if we wouldn't have got him, it would have been kind of crazy. Uh, Yeah, but I'm glad we got him. I don't. Um, I see a lot of backlash that I don't like, though. I guess
Mm,
we'll talk about that later. Um, the center from the Clippers, yeah, that he's a good player, good backup. That's somebody that we didn't really think that was going to happen.
right,
He can pass, he could shoot the ball, even though he didn't shoot that many threes, but he's capable of it.
right.
And he's actually not that lumbering or whatever. Like he's a big, but he has a little athleticism too. So I'm happy with the move so far.
Yeah, and I hear he can play make as well.
Hmm.
He can pass the
Very good
ball
pass.
a little bit.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm happy with it as well. I was a little nervous though. How many times have we, have the reports been out, the rumors been out that we're going to sign a player, that this guy is coming to New York, and at the last minute, it doesn't happen. So
Right.
I was cautiously optimistic. I got a little discouraged when I heard that he would be taking meetings with Miami. That got me a little nervous because you know how Pat Riley is. In my
Right.
opinion, he's a
Right.
closer. You get in that room with him, everything changes.
Yep. He
He's that persuasive.
throw them rings on the table. What you gonna do?
Right. So I was pretty happy when I found out he wasn't even going to take the meetings, you
Right.
know, and he didn't take the meeting with Dallas either. So I mean, I feel like they had ample opportunity, you
I
know.
actually have a theory that I've never
Okay.
said. I have a theory. I have a theory that Brunson was the plan all along
For the
to come
Knicks.
here
Okay.
because of who, like our general manager, well, our president is Leon
Hmm.
Rose. I think the relationship. You got to think about the type of relationship he has with this kid.
Hmm.
Like he's his godfather. Like he knew that his contract was coming up. His agent is his son.
Right.
So all those times that we didn't get a point guard, Tyrese
Hmm.
Halliburton, to name one, we didn't draft him or we didn't and we didn't trade for him. A couple other point guards that we didn't go after.
So
I
you
don't
mean
think.
this was in the works even before this season?
Yes, I really think
Oh,
so
okay.
because you got to think about like who they are. They are all agents,
Right.
and they knew when Jalen Brunson's contract was coming up. They
Gotcha.
had to have. And it's not that far. It wasn't that far away from when he got the job.
Yeah, and that explains last season signing Kimball Walker like a
Right.
stopgap. Because I'm like, are
Exactly.
you kidding me? A stopgap?
Exactly.
Like,
And think
so
and the other contracts that he signed too. I know that a lot of people view them as mistakes, but they were mistakes that they knew that they can fix very, very fast. I actually think about how quick that happened. Like
hmm.
all those bad contracts they was talking about. The only contract everybody think will talk about now that they want to trade is maybe Fournier.
Hmm.
And to be honest, his contract isn't that bad either. He's movable.
Right,
Like all the contracts that they signed was movable. So
right.
because of that, they knew that they can make those moves. Now the draft pick, them not drafting anybody this year and having to do that in order to get rid of Kimba, I think that was the mistake. I don't think they
Mm.
planned any of that, but I really think
No, I don't want to
they
put that.
planned on, Jalen Brunson coming here.
Right, right. Is that funny to Dallas? Is that a done deal, or Pudge Nice? That's just something you want to see, happen.
Oh, a lot of people were talking about it like, as a sign and trade because they didn't, I don't think the Brunson deal is finalized yet. So
Right.
if it's a
What?
sign and trade, then I'm all for it. That just frees up, more cap space to get somebody else because I don't think we're done.
Right. I don't think we're done either. I'm not sure how much is left out on the free agent market though.
Right.
Um, your thoughts on how much he was paid?
Oh, I'm
A
fine
hun-
with it.
Reportedly 104.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I'm perfectly fine with that. I mean, you got to think about what Jalen Brunson will do for us. I'm not the type of player that think he's, or the type of person that think he's overpaid. I don't think he's overpaid at all. Like
Hmm.
he's getting paid average point guard money.
Right.
Like this isn't back in the day when 25 million a year was the start. He's not going to be the highest paid player on the team. Like RJ is going to probably make more than that next year.
Right.
Like he's not going to
Right.
make the max, but he's going to make more than Jalen Brunson, and we need somebody else to come in here to make more than that if we get rid of Randall.
Right.
Like neither one of them are number one, so I don't expect Jalen Brunson to be the highest paid or the second highest paid. He's going to be like the third or fourth highest paid player on this team when it's
Right.
all said and done.
Right. So let's talk about what what we think he brings to our team now that we actually have him, and then let's talk about, are we actually a better team? And was two questions: are we a better
Mhm.
team just in a vacuum than last year? And then the second question: does that change where we finish in the Eastern Conference? Just, I think, two separate questions. But what do you think he's gonna bring to us that we didn't have last season?
Well, it's a huge upgrade for one thing, just because Alec Burks was pretty much our starting point guard last year. So it's a
Hmm.
huge upgrade. Like Jalen Brunson is a real point guard. He's a better player. Not that Alec Burks wasn't good. It's just he was out of position. And the type of player that he is, he's kind of perfect for Tibbs because he goes to the basket a lot. And Tibbs like penetrating guards. The only thing probably messed up with our roster is that we don't have that many shooters.
Hmm.
So when it comes to Jalen Brunson, and if we're going to be better, yeah, we'll be better on paper just because he's a better player.
Hmm.
But it all boils down to Tibbs and what he's going to do with him.
Right.
So that's my whole thing. It's not the moves that we made; it's what Tibbs is going to do with these moves. Like we all know that Jalen Brunson is good. He's better. He's going to be a better point guard than Alec Burks. Period. Like that's not even a question.
Right.
But in order to with wins and losses, that's on Tibbs. Like
Right.
Jalen Brunson is Jalen Brunson. He has to
Right.
find out what to do with Jalen Brunson.
Right. Right. Shout out to Raf Diaz. Appreciate you. Pudge Nice. Appreciate you. Sanga Waldron. I hope I said that right. Appreciate you. Building Blocks. Appreciate you as well. I'll drop the link in a few. Anybody want to hop on and just give your takes on the Knicks offseason so far, and whether or not you think we're a better team, and whether or not you think these moves changes where we finish in the Eastern Conference. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it remains to be seen how the offense changes. Um, you can argue maybe Tibbs' offense was because of how he assessed what we had and who we had. But I think now that we have Brunson, things should open up a little bit. And so, absolutely, I'm going to be interested to see if our offense is a bit more creative. I'm glad they brought in Hartenstein. I think that he creates some space for us. Remember, there was times when Brunson was on the floor with everybody else who could stretch the floor.
Right.
Um, is it Keebler, Kleebler,
Keebler.
whatever his name was,
Mm-hmm.
and Finney Smith,
Yep.
Bullock. He was on the floor with on the court with floor spaces, and that really helped him getting into the lane. Right, not a lot of congestion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested in how that's going to work with, again, RJ Randall if he remains here, and Mitch who resigned. We'll talk a little bit about that too. All playing below the 3-point line. Um, Not that he can't play in that system. He'll probably take more three-pointers, but it takes away a little bit of his game if he can't get into the lane, because that's a big part of what he does. But beyond what he does on the court, I'm really looking for the leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think many people have talked about it, but the number one thing that I hope happens is that Julius Randle no longer facilitates the offense.
Right. Me
That's
too.
the number that's what I'm looking forward to.
That's on Tibbs too, though. That
That's
ain't
on
on
Tibbs
Julius
too.
Randle.
Right.
Because if it's up to Julius Randle, he's going to have the ball in his hand all the time, as he should.
Right.
Just like any other player or any other player that thinks he's at least a star and on the team or the best player. So that's on Tibbs too.
Right. I mean, listen, he can score the ball.
Hmm.
So I'm not saying that I don't want him to have the ball. He can even take as many shots as he's taking right now.
Right.
I just want somebody else to be in charge of this offense. It's important because I also think that's going to help Julius Randle's efficiency as well.
Hmm.
Because all he has to do is run down court, get to his spots, and Brunson is going to be the one making the decisions, you know, which play we're going to run. I don't know. Tibbs always on the side calling out something, but at least, who's going to get the ball and win. Now, once he gets it and he's double teamed, that's basketball. You
Right.
you 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 got to pass it. You do what you do, but I'm looking forward to seeing somebody else facilitate this offense. And I don't think it should have to be Brunson negotiating this with Randall. Like
Right.
you said, it should be the coaching staff right from the beginning, putting the ball in his hands and letting the entire team know he's going to be facilitating the offense.
Right.
And
I'm
I
really
think if
on
you
Tibbs.
shrink Randall's role, I'm hoping he becomes a better player.
I can't wait for the season to start. Like I'm on Tibbs. That's why I'm on because that's why I was mad at for the most part last year anyway. So now that he has a point guard, I don't want no. We don't have point guard excuses for any of the players or Tibbs anymore.
Right.
They
Right.
have to. It's time to produce now. Like,
Yeah, no
but I
doubt
didn't.
about
I didn't answer the second part of your question whether
it. Oh, go
we,
ahead.
even though we're gonna be better, would that mean we're gonna be better record wise? That remains to be seen. I'm not sure about that. That's because everybody else got better too. If anybody will leapfrog, maybe is Charlotte just because of the Bridges news. I don't know
Right.
if you heard, but he actually got arrested today.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Right. So they actually arrested him today. So we don't know what's going to come when it comes to that.
Right. Right. Shout out to Justin L rocking with us tonight. You can be anywhere else on a Friday night. I appreciate you
Word.
guys being here with us. Um, Julius never was a playmaker until season before last. Whatever the problems were that made him think he had to keep doing that, he did the things he was efficient at low frequency. And another comment just to follow up, paint touches, driving touches, elbow touches, trailing break or leading break off of a defensive rebounds, hitting the glass and weak side catch and shoot should be his touches. I agree with you. To me, I think this is really important to the Knicks' success. And maybe I'm overstating this. I just think if Julius Randle is on this team and you're taking the ball out of his hands, remember his decision making wasn't that great. Remember, even when he did make the right decision as to who to pass to, the pass would be so hard. Remember how he would just fumble and just turn the ball over for just doing too much. You're
Right.
doing too much. You
You
know,
say he's been shacking the fool for a couple years now. Yeah.
right? You're doing too
Absolutely right.
much. So I'm hoping that with less responsibility, he's gonna shine a bit brighter. That's what I'm really hoping. Shout out to King Ribby RM. Appreciate you. Absolutely. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification button so you'll be notified anytime I go live. This is not my usual night, but I wanted to come on and kind of talk about what the Knicks are doing and what else is happening in the Eastern Conference. So to your point, let me drop the link also in case anybody wants to hop on and just give a quick take. Let me just drop that.
Yeah, but the East is definitely gonna be better.
No doubt about it.
I'm just trying to think of the all the teams that's ahead of us. Like all the teams that were good, none of them got worse
Right. So
except for
let
Brooklyn,
right,
and we don't
right,
even know that yet.
right. Salute to 914's finest. I appreciate you.
Oh, so
Um, so Boston signed Brogdon today. What else happened in the Eastern Conference? Murray went to Atlanta.
hmm You see what they gave up for Brogdon though?
Yeah.
Magic beans. They didn't give up
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah, exactly. And a bag of chips.
Right. They just gave pretty much gave up like the back of their bench and like a first round pick.
Right. And I'm pretty sure there's some protections on that
Yep.
um pick as well. So I think Brunson makes us better. Like when you think about our team last year or the last few years, and you think about us now having that point guard, especially him with the leadership. I don't think he's going to be intimidated by Randall. I don't think
Right.
he's going to defer to Randall like Kemba Walker did when he first came here. All of that is out.
Yeah, that's
Brunson,
done.
you could look at Brunson. He don't look like he taking a lot of mess off of anybody. I don't care if he's 6'1" or
Right.
barely 6 feet. So I don't think that's gonna be a problem. So I think we're a better team. I think in crunch time, we're gonna run our sets. I think we're gonna get good shots because he's there. I think good decisions are gonna be made. Remember when Derrick Rose was here the season before last,
Yep.
down the stretch? He helped us. He had some big shots for us. The offense seemed to be a bit more organized. That's what he's going to do for us.
Hmm.
That being said, this Eastern Conference is no joke.
Right.
Now, 7 through 10, not in order. I don't know if I remember it in order, but the 7 through 10 last year was Brooklyn, Cleveland, Atlanta, and Charlotte.
Hmm.
Now I think if KD is traded, I think Kyrie is going to be out the door as well. I'm sure they may get back some good pieces. I don't know if you can that might be a weak link or a weak spot.
Hmm.
And maybe Charlotte with what's going on with Miles Bridges, who
Hmm.
knows how that's going to work out? Maybe. I don't think anybody else you see that the Knicks could and Washington got better.
Who Washington get?
Washington got
I know they drafted Johnny Davis.
right. They got Will Barton, Monty Morris from Denver,
Denver.
and then
Okay.
they also made a smaller move. I want to say is Delon Wright,
Oh,
um,
okay.
who was a backup.
Hmm.
Yeah, they're building blocks. Appreciate you. I was just about to look that up. Um, so I think Washington will be better as well, especially if Bradley Beal, who signed his 5-year max contract, is healthy. Right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Where do you, and this is for the chat as well, do we make the play in or the playoffs next season with the changes we made? And let's not underestimate what Hartenstein, before we answer that, let's just talk briefly about what Hartenstein brings to us. We're re-signing Mitch, 5 years, 60 million. I'm gonna leave it at that. Um, and and we know what Mitch does.
Right.
Hartenstein, like you mentioned in the beginning, he doesn't take a lot of threes, but he can hit the three. He can rebound. He can block shots as well. He averaged I think 18 minutes a game, and he had 1.2, 3, 4 blocks in
Hmm.
that 18 minutes, right? So
Right.
he can block shots as well. And I think when if we he's going to help space the floor, and we're going to need that. And remember, that was one of the on the wish list for us. We needed a point
Hmm.
guard, and we needed a stretch center,
Yep.
and we a stretch five, and we got that. Down the stretch of games, you could put him in.
Yes, he's going to be our center in the fourth quarter.
You think he's gonna already? You think he's gonna close the games?
Already, I already looked at his numbers and stuff because, and that's one good thing about Leon Rose. We have to give it up for the front office at least a little bit now too, because remember we had that show about who can we get in for that, like to be a stretch five or whatever, and we couldn't think of that many names. We was thinking like what Brooke Lopez,
Hmm.
some nobody thought about this kid, and
Right,
he's actually a perfect fit and he's a perfect complement for Mitch.
right,
He does everything on offense that Mitch doesn't do really, except for putting the ball on the floor. But centers don't do that anyway.
right,
But when it comes to his passing, he might be a better passer than he is shooter.
right,
I think he like 65%, 65 to 70% from the free throw line. I think something like that. It's
mhm,
in the 60s somewhere.
Hmm.
So it's not like he's a knockdown shooter or whatever, but he's better at that than Mitch is. So in the fourth quarter, I can see him playing if we don't go small. I think should go small, but you know
Right.
that's on Tibbs also.
Right. Right. Yeah. So I think that that does, he makes us better as well, and he gives us a little more options. Any concerns? And we'll get back to where we are in the Eastern Conference with the moves we made. Any concerns? Well, first of all, number one, do you think Hartenstein beats out Sims for the backup spot? And any concerns if he does that Sims will be getting less time?
Yeah, he probably beat him out, but I think he should. Like he's more skilled than Sims. Like Sims is a late second round pick. Like a lot of people or a lot of draft boards had him like later than that. Like he wasn't going to be drafted. So,
Hmm.
now that we got him, I'm glad that we got him and everything. But yeah, he'll probably be in the G League and on the bench too. Like he'll flip flop. He'll either be our third center because I actually think we're probably going to release Taj and re-sign him
Hmm.
for a lesser deal. So yeah, he's going to be like our fourth or third center, developmental. Like
Right.
they can stick him in the G League like they did last year, going back and forth.
Right. And I heard that they may convert his contract to a standard contract
Hmm.
because he's on a two-way now. So if they convert, this is Sims, if they convert it to a standard contract,
Hmm.
it opens up a two-way contract for Keels. And I have to say, I saw some footage of Keels. He's lost some weight.
Oh, has he?
He's lost some weight,
Okay.
and
Okay.
they showed him shooting that the shooting, the form looked good.
Okay.
He's 18 years old, so
Hmm.
let's see, and he's on the summer league roster, so we'll get a chance to see him. I have no concerns about Sims playing less because I think when you have Sims and Mitch, you pretty much have the same players, except for the fact that Sims can defend out on the perimeter a little better than Mitch.
Hmm.
And but in terms the same players in the sense that one defensive minded players that don't have much offense other than putbacks,
Okay.
right? And the way the NBA is going, if we want to modernize our offense and get a little more out of it, having a stretch center helps. It helps Randall, who operates below the free throw line. It helps create space for RJ as well, who operates below the 3 point line. I meant to say. So
Hmm.
it helps. So having Hartenstein in there might be some games where he might get more minutes than Mitch, depending on how well he's playing. Because Tibbs will do that sometimes with a second teamer.
Hmm.
Those first teamers, they're gonna get their minutes, they're gonna get back, they're gonna get back in. But
Especially if Mitch
Mhm.
don't play well.
Right.
Hey, Tibbs will sit him down. I can still see that still.
Yeah, exactly. Pudge and Nice, we need one more. You think we need two?
We need one more. So basically, he trying to get Taj out of here. Then. He trying to get my man Taj out of here. That's all that means. Salute, salute.
Yeah. So to the chat, are we a better team than last year? And then second, do we make the play in with the moves that we made, or do we need to do something else?
Man, to me, it's all on Tibbs, man. But I actually think it has to be better. And with the games that we should have won last year, we won what 37.
Hmm.
We got to get into at least. I don't know how many wins you giving us.
I don't know if we're going to be that much better. And not because we're not better and not because the roster is not better. It's just that the rest of the conference is getting better as well.
Right.
So we can also I say we're going to have 30 between 37 and 42 wins.
One thing we don't put into account, at least we haven't talked about it. Not even with Brunson, all of the young players that we wanted to play last year should have gotten better over the summer.
Yes.
So, like, if we only getting 5 more wins with Brunson and their maturation, we might have a problem.
You said if we can get or if we don't get.
If we do, like, if we only get 5 more wins, if we added Brunson, a backup center that can shoot, and if our young players actually ascended, for us to only get 5 more wins, that's crazy to me.
But what if the conference has gotten better? You're saying irrespective of the conference getting better.
Right. Because that
Okay,
mean because I guess because we're so young, and if we have so much confidence that Tibbs should have played them last year, then you can't really think that we would have the same exact team because we're so young. They should get better over the summer. Like IQ should be better, Obi
absolutely,
should be better, Cam
absolutely,
should be better, RJ should be
absolutely.
better. All of them should be better than what they even Mitch. I don't care. Like he might not be
It
able
should-
to shoot the three or anything like that, but he
mhm.
should still at least be better at something that he wasn't doing last year. They have to. They're at the age that if they're not getting better, they're not good. Period. And I wouldn't want them on the team.
Right.
You can't be
Shout
in
out.
your mid 20s and not not be
Not get
better at
better.
nothing
Right.
like the next season. Nah.
And we spoke to Grimes' trainer, and he assured us. He said Grimes already has a mid range game because I
Yep.
asked him specifically. He said he already has that, but he's doing what's being asked of him.
Right. Right. Right.
So
So
if he has that mid range, I'm looking forward to seeing it. So then he should be better as
right.
well.
But that's on Tibbs too, though.
That's the
That's the
idea.
thing. He always had the mid range. But
Right.
yeah, we'll see.
That was his role.
Yep.
Shout out to Eddie C. How you doing?
Eddie, well, bro.
Hey, what's up, Jarrell? How you doing, Stephanie?
I'm
All right.
good.
All
How
right.
are you?
I'm doing good. I just came in to show my support. I just subscribed to your channel.
I
Nice.
I
appreciate
Nice.
was
you.
wondering why I never saw none of the dope content, and it was because I wasn't subscribed. But I
Ah.
heard somebody say
Ah,
it, and yeah, that was my bad. And I
that's
heard
okay.
somebody say it, and I went over and I saw you had the open panel, so I just wanted to come in and say hello.
That's what's up, man.
Absolutely. What's your thoughts on, what the Knicks did in free agency? Do you think we're a better team? I'm throwing all the questions at you. Do you think we're a better team than last year? And do you think that changes where we finish in the Eastern Conference?
Okay, so I'm okay with what everything that we did. We got the best point guard available, and that was the position of need. Um, I think the Hartenstein kid is a good pickup for us, a good under the radar pickup for us, and um, getting Mitch back was also important to me.
Right.
The second question was again. I remember the third one, not the second one.
Um, are are we a better team than last year? But I guess you kind of answered that.
Okay, we are a better team than last year because it looks like the pieces fit a little bit better. And I think the third question was if we are a playoff team. I think we're hovering around that play in. If we play very hard, play well, we can probably be an eighth seed
Hmm.
going into the playoffs. So I'm willing to give our guys a shot. I'm willing to
Right.
give our guys a shot off the simple fact that the fit seems to be a little bit better, so it might be easier to play on the court.
Yeah. Shout out to Angel Torres and Paris Doug. I was just about to say that.
I just put it
Chem-
in the chat.
oh, you
Like
did?
I agree with him. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true to me.
Chemistry.
Chemistry matters. We may start slow. Remember that team the year before last? When you looked at the talent on that team, that wasn't a
Mm,
fourth seed, but the chemistry and the defense was there. They had an identity. We played very well. So if things break right for us, we can be in the top six. And by when I mean break right, I mean a lot has to break right.
mhm,
Imagine Mitch. When you see Mitch have those dominating games, what if they're more consistent?
mhm,
That helps us. What if Randall returns to form? And I don't, and it doesn't even have to be all NBA. Somewhere between the season before that and the all NBA season. What if he's somewhere in there? You
right,
know, that helps us. What if RJ takes the next step? What if Cam finally, you know, um, is what we expect and what we know or what we think he can be? If all of those things happen, then we're gonna do very well.
right.
It's
That's what.
just
Yep.
those a lot needs to happen for us. That's for the playoffs. A lot would need to break right for us to make 1 through 6.
Right. That's why I said earlier. I think it's about. It's not even about Brunson. Brunson is supposed to be like just the key to start the engine.
Hmm.
The kids are the ones that's supposed to like. They're the ones that's supposed to take us, far. Like he's here to be the point guard. Like
Hmm. Hmm.
just to be the leader on the team. But like it's up to RJ, Cam, Obi. IQ is all it's up to all of them to get better as players.
Right. Thoughts, Eddie? Eddie C.
Um, my initial when it comes to how we're gonna start the season, my initial thoughts is based around one player. My initial thoughts is based around Evan Fournier
Oh
Mm,
wow.
because he's um to me there's a conundrum there. What are you gonna do with that trio of Fournier, Grimes, and Reddish?
mm.
Everybody knows who we want to play. You know what I'm saying? Is that the best decision though? Because maybe we're biased. We want to see the kids go out and play. We want to see more of Grimes. We want to see what Cam Reddish can do, and we already know what Evan Fournier is. So
Mhm.
is that why we think like this? But to
Mhm.
me, I think it all. I think that's the. We had a lot of problems, and we solved a lot of the problems, but that's still one that's around. That's the elephant in the room per se.
I agree with
And
you actually.
if we make the decision to go to the kids, see if it backfires, see if it doesn't, or we make the decision to stick with Fournier. I mean, I
Mhm.
think that's the toughest decision, and that's what's going to, I think, right the whole season.
Right.
Wow.
Because now that Burks isn't there,
Right.
Evan Fournier is pretty much the only, well, him and Rose. But yeah, Evan Fournier is the one that's going to get all the minutes. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, and I can
he's the
see Rose missing games.
right.
So in that sense, I can see it helping, people like Deuce McBride out. I can see that helping people like Emmanuel Quickly out in the sense of, okay, when Rose is not feeling up to it today, they can slide in and they know that probably once in a while this will happen,
Hmm.
right? So that'll be like a rhythm thing. Would be like, okay, we play like this, but when he's out, we know so it'll happen during the course of the season. Evan Fournier plays every game.
Right.
So that's a decision that has to be made.
I
That's
mean,
true.
I think we have a listen, we have two players over 30, I believe. So our young guys are going to play. They are going to be in the rotation. Obi is still going to be in the rotation. IQ is still going to be in the rotation. Burks is out between Grimes or Cam. One of them is going to be in the rotation for sure. And
Hmm.
even behind, yeah, even because Fournier is not going to play 48 minutes, and they'll get more minutes if he's not hitting the shots, if he's not playing good defense. Because there were times last year when Fournier didn't even play in the fourth quarter, or he didn't play much in the fourth quarter. So our young guys are going to get run on this team, especially with Burks out. They're going to get time. Now, there's going to always be young people that's going to be situational, like McBride. You got Brunson, you got IQ. If Rose is coming back, I don't really see a path forward for McBride on this team, barring significant injuries. But as far as the rest of them, I, I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna play. I think they're gonna play now because you think about it. Even if Fournier starts, Grimes could play behind him.
Hmm.
RJ starts, Cam can play behind him. Am I missing somebody on the wing?
IQ.
Yeah, is that you have
IQ.
Rose and IQ, so then that's where
Right.
Yeah.
it's at.
I think
Because
we
if Rose is going to
right.
play the backup 2 or 1, and IQ is going to play the backup 2 or 1, the 3 spot is where it's either Grimes or it's Cam or Fournier.
Yeah. So we're talking about Fournier. I think Rose is the one that needs to move. Because even if you have Fournier backed up by Grimes, you got RJ, Cam backing up RJ, and you got IQ backing up Brunson. I mean,
That's very very logical, and I agree with you.
I
You
think
think that's
Rose
going to
is the
happen?
one that has to, so that IQ can get his minutes.
So you think that's going to happen though?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what my question is. Is like
Right? Is it going to happen?
that's where it's at. It's like, is it gonna be because it can be him? Like I have no problems it being him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but we all know that you know Thibodeau likes Rose and Taj in particular. Like those guys, if anything, he would love to have those guys at least to nurture the rest of the kids,
Right.
Right.
right?
To, yep. to me, like Fournier will be the odd man out, like you said.
Right. To
That's
me,
not one of his
it has
guys.
to be either Fournier or Cam. Cam strictly because of the contract situation,
Hmm.
Hmm.
and Fournier because of his defensive fit with the rest of the crew.
But you know what? And call me old school. I think we should just when the season start, you roll the ball out and let the best players win the spot.
Oh, I agree with that
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, I
let the
agree with that
best
too.
player win the spot. Let's not give it to Grimes if Fournier beats him out. Let's not give it to Cam. Cam, if can you beat out Fournier? And you got to think about it. When we thinking about somebody beating him out, we might look at one or two things that this guy might do better.
Right.
The coaching staff is looking at not just them individually, but how it also fits with the team and how the team is working. You know, so if can Cam beat out Fournier? Can Grimes beat out Fournier? But I
Right.
don't want to just get rid of people just to create space for somebody that's not better.
Mm, right.
I mean, that's
I agree.
just me. Call me old
Yeah,
school
I'm
with
with you.
that.
I'm
Nah,
with
I
you.
think.
No, no, I'm
Yeah,
with you. I'm
I
with you.
agree.
You know,
It's just that
you,
we watched this team in this organization for so long. We know it's not like that.
Right. That's the only thing.
well, because we think Cam is better than Fournier, but the coaching staff may not think so,
Well,
right?
they definitely didn't think so. I think the problem with Cam is they look
They
at him
definitely
more of
didn't
a
think so.
power
They
forward
You think so? You think
because he's
Cam is
that's
a
the
power
position
forward?
that he played. When he got playing time, he was playing the four mostly.
He played the 3 and the 4. That's true.
And
He
the
played the
reason
three and
that
four.
he
Mhm.
got the burn was because Obi Toppin had a calf injury that took him out for like a week. Remember that time when they had that lineup of Deuce and quickly, it was Deuce quickly, RJ. It was Deuce quickly, RJ, Cam, and Sims. One of
Hmm.
the best defensive units that we had, right?
I
And
remember that.
as soon as Obi came back, because Obi was injured, I don't know if it was 3 or 4 games or something like that. Um, Cam got injured, and that lineup
Right.
didn't miss a beat. They interchanged Cam and Obi, and it's still the defensive unit was still intact. So I don't know if they realize they think that he's a four.
Mm, I hope not.
I hope not. I
He's
mean,
not
I
no
think
four.
I think you could put, you can play him at four at
Hmm.
times as a stretch four,
I
but I
wish we
don't know if
had.
you
I
could beat him
wish I
full
had
time.
like a minute, like a stat where you can see how many minutes he played in each position.
On each position.
Right.
Right.
I'm sure you can Google that, right? How many minutes did Cam play at power forward?
I don't know if that's even a. I don't
Yeah.
even know if that's a stat. But yeah,
Yeah.
I can see him as a small ball four though.
Small ball four.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can see that.
Yeah.
But
Definitely. I'm not the Cam Reddish um conundrum, if you will, is he's up for restricted free agency. So he was drafted in the same class as RJ Barrett. So both of them are up for a contract extension.
yep.
If they're not extended by sometime before the start of the season, I believe they become restricted free agents.
Hmm.
So I did hear that they're trying to sign RJ to an extension this summer. I think Cam is going to restricted free agency. I don't think they're going to extend Cam.
They don't really have a reason
Right.
to be
Um,
honest. Like he hasn't showed anything. He got hurt. So
right. So then during the season, depending on how he plays, um, if he balls out, they may keep him and offer him a contract, but they may trade him before at the deadline as well if they feel like they don't want to pay him.
yep.
You
That's the
know,
only that's the only
Hmm.
thing about all the young having all the young guys. Like I said, numerous times, all of their contracts are coming up all at the same time. Obi
right,
and IQ is going to be in the same year also.
right. Building
Yeah, that's a
blocks,
hard stat to look up, but that's an interesting stat to me for this
right,
this
Yeah.
right.
argument here.
Building blocks we can definitely match. But this is the thing. The Knicks need to know by the trading deadline whether or not they want Cam Reddish or not.
Right.
Because if you know you don't want him, that means you're not going to match. That means you're going to lose him for nothing. So if you don't see him as part of the future by the trading deadline, you trade him, try to get an asset for him. But that means playing him,
Yep.
and this is where it becomes hard, you know, playing somebody just, to up his value, or are you playing him because you think he can help the team? I would think that they're playing him because they think he can help the team. And, you know,
Raise his
the
value.
other teams will get an opportunity to see him as well. JJ, appreciate you. Don't see Cam as part of the future. How do you guys feel about that? And how does the chat feel about that before we get back to this Eastern Conference?
I see Pudge say sign TJ Warren. That mean if that's the case, yeah, he want to get Cam out of here too.
TJ Warren is from what I understand is healthy. Before the injury, he hasn't played in like 2 years, right? I think since the bubble.
Yeah.
He dropped 50 in the bubble. I
Hmm.
recall as well, but he hasn't played since then. In our wing,
That's what I'm saying. Like
we
if
already
we
got a
get
log jam, if you will.
right, if we get him, yeah, Cam is out of here. Because Cam not starting over him or getting any minutes over TJ Warren. Not at this time. I don't see that. Not for Tibbs.
Wow.
Mm-mm.
Eddie, see
when
your
when
thoughts
it
on Cam overall?
when it comes to me and him, far be it for me or anyone to downsize, I guess the word I'm looking for, his talent and what he
Hmm.
can be. But looking at it in a business sense, to me, his name holds more weight than his game at this point in time. So if I'm able to get a first round draft pick, hopefully better than the one that we gave up for him, I would probably try to do that due to the fact of the contract negotiations. Maybe he would want a bigger role, some sort
Hmm.
of money. And if you do talk to the community, they hold Cam Reddish in a very high regard. So I would use that against the people that want to have him in their system and try to get some value back for him.
Well, this is what people are saying, but when the Knicks was trying to trade him, I don't think they were getting a lot. What they were offering wasn't enough for the Knicks to pull the trigger.
Right.
Hmm.
I think because Cam got hurt. Cam got hurt at the exact wrong time he should have.
Yeah,
Right.
we needed him for that stretch run.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Ashley Inc. won. Cam is our most gifted player, and if developed, can be our best player. Listen,
Yeah, if he developed, yeah,
listen.
the big if.
There's a there's a big difference between your ceiling and you reaching that ceiling. He's the most talented player on our team as far as his skill set.
Hmm.
But if you never reach it, what does that mean? And I don't think it's on us to develop him. That's on Cam
Yep.
to develop. He's been in the league going on 4 years now.
Yep.
Atlanta moved on from him for a reason, and part of the knock on Cam is he's a very talented guy, but it's hard to get that talent out of him on a game to game basis. Now, maybe something clicks, something has clicked over the summer, and he comes in and he bowls out, right? But we can't keep waiting and waiting and waiting for a player to become who when you look at their skill set, they can become. So the question is, if he's that talented, why is he not performing on that level?
Right.
That's
Cam
the
is one of my
question.
favorite players on the team, and I already said that he is the most talented. So I'm not hating on him or anything. It's just the
Mhm.
truth. Like he has to perform. If he doesn't perform, he'll be out of here.
Yeah,
Why is
man,
he on the bench?
he's the silkiest Nick.
Right.
He's the silkiest Nick on the whole team.
Yep.
Like you watch him play and you like, yo, but it doesn't equate to much. He gets injured often. It's not like he shows up. There was one play in particular
Mhm.
because I guess if you ask me, I would say I'm a Reddish fan. But there was one play in particular where I said, "Man, okay." So the play was that he was coming off the baseline and he got the ball. He cut to the basket off the baseline and he was wide open for a dunk. There was nobody around him, nobody in sight, and he like went up so soft and missed the dunk. Do you guys remember that play?
I don't
I
remember
don't
that match
remember
from.
that one.
No, you don't remember that play? That play right there, I said to myself, "There's something up with that guy."
Word.
Because
Yeah, I don't
even
remember that.
Kevin Knox, when he gets a leak to the basket, is gonna pound it with authority, and he didn't do that. So that gave me pause right there. But
Yeah, yeah. I just
yeah,
want to say, Sankford 929 can't reach it on the bench, but you on the bench for a reason. I mean, there's two camps. One, the coach is not giving this player a chance. The coach is holding the player back, or the coach is seeing something that we don't see. Now part of him being on the bench, again, the rotation was set. He came in the middle of the season. Tibbs already said he wasn't changing his rotation for that, but let's see now coming into training camp where he's going to be at the same spot at starting point as everybody else, hopefully, and let's see if he's able to beat people out. Now Atlanta chose Herder over him. They moved on for Herder too, but for different reasons. Probably salary cap reasons. They have DeJounte Murray now. But initially, you have a talented Cam in your camp. You have Hunter in your camp. You got Herder in your camp on your team. And you choose to extend those two and not Cam.
Right.
Now,
One. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
my last point, and now it could be that he wasn't developing or producing as quickly as they wanted him to, and he's still able to. He just needs a little more time, similar to Mitch. I think the Knicks are paying Mitch for what he can be, not necessarily for what he's done thus far. And so maybe that's the same thing with Cam. That it's going to take him a little more time to reach it, and Atlanta was just a bit impatient. That's possible.
One more thing about Cam when it comes to this roster, right? One bad thing a lot of people don't realize that me personally, I'm the type of person that want RJ to move to the two. I think he's a two
Mhm.
guard. I don't think he's a three. But because they start and play him mostly at the three, that actually put Cam on the bench more than he should too,
Mhm.
because he's not going to play over RJ. And since RJ is the starting small forward for this team, at least he was for the past, last year. I think they're still going to probably start Fournier and start RJ at the three. So because of that, yeah, Cam still is not going to get as many minutes as we would want him to. Like he can't.
Right. Paris Doug, I appreciate you. Cam can possibly take RJ's spot. Y'all are too comfortable about RJ Barrett's spot. We are very comfortable with RJ
Yeah,
Barrett's spot because the Knicks are
yeah,
about to extend him, and I don't see Cam.
no way.
He has a higher upside than Barrett, a higher ceiling. You can argue that he's more talented, more skilled. But okay, Barrett is at 85% in terms of ceiling, so to speak. Let's just say Cam is at 100. But you getting 85 of that 85 from Barrett, and you getting 60 of that 100 from Cam. You understand? And I appreciate Nathaniel Ming for bringing that out to me. I said this before on one of my videos, and I said so and so has the higher upside. We were talking about draft picks. He said, "So what?" He said, Ben Simmons has a higher upside than Booker, but you getting all of Booker's talent.
Right, right,
you,
right,
you
right,
know,
right,
and Simmons, you're not getting all of it. So just because somebody has a higher upside, what does that mean if you're not getting it from that player?
right.
So RJ, you're getting his talent. He does he have some things he needs to improve on? Absolutely, he does. But you're getting what he has, and he'll prove on it. Cam, we're not getting all of what he has now, and I'm going by the entire 4 years, not just him on our team. I'm going, with the Atlanta years as well.
Right. I agree.
Shout out to let's talk a little bit about Mitch. Signed reports are, or did he sign it already? The 4 year $60 million 914 is fine is not for nothing. We just gave 60 million to a player who hasn't improved in 4 years.
Oh,
What do
we
you think
talk.
about Mitchell Robinson's contract? What do you think about him being back? And do you think the contract was for what he's done, for the underpay this first 4 years, or for what, or a little bit of both, or what he's going to be? Eddie,
Mm,
let's start with you.
Um, I think they it was their player. It was our player, right? So I think it would have been bad look to let him go to free agency and get nothing for him. Be it that we had developed him for the last 4 years and he had been in house for the past 4 years, and also that he outplayed his contract by so much. Because he was getting 1 point something million, 2 point something million. So probably and it's not like they haven't shown it. The Knicks right now, this organization really does take care of their own. Like they look like they're an organization that wants to, once you're part of the family, they're gonna have your back. And if I'm an organization, I would like to see those things because when I'm a free agent, I would like to see, um, this type of contract, these types of dealings
Hmm.
where all right, they're looking after their guy. They did it with Jalen Brunson. You could even say that they're doing it with Julius at this point in time. He had a horrible year. Everybody's asking for his head, and the people that you don't hear Woj or Shams saying anything about they've tried to move him. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they have, maybe they haven't. I don't know. But it's not like they're showing their hand. You know what I'm saying? So it's like no, man. Like whatever the case is, if you with us, you with us.
Hmm.
And I commend that a lot. I commend that a lot. I'm not a big center guy. Like me, I would have stayed with Hartenstein and Sims. I think that would have been a stupid idea too. Now looking back at it, I would rather have Mitch, Hartenstein, and Sims. But they already made all their moves with their free agency money, and they could have gone over the cap to sign him. So then why
Hmm.
not do so?
Yeah, I mean, I don't need to beat a dead horse as far as me
like
and
we've
Mitch.
already expressed our feelings about
Yeah,
Mitch like
I mean,
multiple times on
I
here. We
he
just
he
not hating. Like, all
right,
right.
right, right. He's back. One of the things I do hope is that the small improvements from year 1 to 4, and in my opinion, that he didn't have great leaps from season to season.
Right.
But what I'm hoping is that what we see right now is not all we're gonna get from Mitch. Like I'm hoping that there's some more development, even on the defensive end.
Hmm.
I've seen games when he was a monster. I would like to see more of that. When he would have, I don't know, 12 points, 15 rebounds, 2 blocks, be really active. If he's doing that on a night to night basis, I think that would be an improvement, just being more consistent in his dominating performances. And yeah, I mean, if he wants to throw in a little mid range shot around the basket, I'll be happy with that as well. But yeah, it is going to be interesting to see if, well, let me ask you guys, let me ask the chat. Do you think there's more development from Mitch, or do you think where he is now is pretty much who he's going to be? And that's for the chat as well.
Like I would never say that somebody can't get better. I guess I would rephrase it as, do I think he's going to get better? No. But well, on offense, I should say. To me, it's just I don't think the offense is ever coming. But even on defense, like you said, him being inconsistent, that's the problem. So I just need him to get better at the stuff that he's already good at. As long as he do that, we fine, and that contract is fine too. Like we didn't sign him for that much money, and like Eddie said, we can sign him, get over the cap and everything. So that's fine. But as long as he can do the stuff that he does well better than he does it now, then we will be fine. But has to be a better rebounder, better shot blocker, just better all around on defense, and we'll be good. But if he's going to stay at as he is now, then no, he doesn't. He doesn't deserve that contract. To me, like you don't pay players because they were underpaid before. Like he was a second
Hmm.
round pick. Like yes, he was underpaid because of his production. He started for us, but he was a second round pick. He wasn't a first round pick for us. So I don't know. Like it was a good contract for him, and I'm glad he got paid.
Yeah, that's kind of like my sentiment. Like I'm just glad that he got paid. But to me, I would if his physicals stay the same, like what he does, he blocks shots, he protects the rim, he can get out sometimes on the 3 point line and defend and stuff like that. If that stays the same with me, but what really would be the kicker for me is if his IQ would get if he would get a higher IQ.
Huh.
If I see him on the defensive end of the floor, go to guys and start pointing out things and see like, yo, if I see certain little details like that, to me that's a very big jump for him, and to me that'll be the start of something very good for him. So if I see something like that, and hopefully we'll look for something like that during the season where he'll go to a Jalen, to a Randall, and he'll say, hey, why don't you just, make him go right, like I'll be there to back you up. To
Right.
me that's huge. So if he
Mm-hmm.
can do that for me, I'm fine with him, and for the rest of his whatever it is that he got, like I ain't mad at it at all.
Right.
Like for me, if you're not going to be okay, cool, you don't have an offensive game. But if you're going to specialize in defense, specialize in defense. Like I want to see him, like Eddie said, point. I want to see him talking on the court. I want him to be our defense. So if captain, like I want him to be the man, our man on defense. I want him to make an all defensive team once. Like he doesn't have to be Akeem Olajuwon on offense. I know
Right.
that's not coming. I don't have no faith in that.
Right. Shout out to Sim. I think he gets smarter. I think he gets smarter about the game. I don't see him becoming a shooter, but I think he gets better at the small nuances of the game. And I think Eddie, that's what you was um,
Right, right,
pointing to, just higher IQ, on the court.
right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I to me, I feel like the less you do offensively, the more dominant I would like you to be defensively.
Exactly.
If and he's an elite offensive rebounder. I'm not going to take that away from him. An elite offensive rebounder and finisher around the basket, and we do need that. I think with Brunson, he gets some more lob passes, he gets some more touches, so I do expect his scoring to go up some. Um, but you know, I would like double double. At the end of the day, Mitch was 8 points, 8 rebounds, and a block.
Again.
I would like to see 12 points, 12 rebounds, and a block, or a block or two. I definitely would. Let's bring in Marvin so he can give us his quick thoughts. Marvin, are you there?
Yes, how you guys doing? Salute.
Salute,
Doing
man.
good. How
Salute.
are
Chad,
you?
Admiral, how you doing today, Miss Queen?
I'm
I
doing
just
very
had a
well.
quick, I just had a quick thought. I just wanted to ask you guys this because I hadn't heard it very often since the draft, and I just wanted to throw it out to you guys and see how you thought about it. If I recall correctly, the Knicks drafted Jalen Duren, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm real high on Jalen Duren. This is the reason I'm bringing this up. Is it a logical move to let him go, to bring Mitch back, to sign him for 60 million when you had a kind of a center that you could probably mold? Use the Mitch money because Mitch was going to go. I know it's a critical thing of re-signing Mitch. I understand, but I think Jordan Durant is going to be a pretty good player. But the way I was looking at this was: is it logical to let him go and then bring back Mitch for 60 million? That's cash that you're using out of your salary cap, and then sign Hartenstein, which is more cash, or keep him, bring Hardenstein in, use the Mitch money to bring somebody else in? I just wanted to ask that question. What do you
Well,
guys
Well,
think about
can I answer first?
yes.
Well, Well, Marvin, that was my exact idea going into the draft. Like I wanted Jalen Duran, and that was my number one pick for that reason.
Yes. I just didn't see the logic in letting him. You basically gave him a way to dump uh Kimba's contract, but then you bring Mitch back for 60 million. Well, actually, it's 80 million in it.
60.
60.
60 million,
Hmm.
which is money off of the cap. I mean, I'm not saying Mitch is not worth it because yes, I was just listening to you, Queen, and he definitely is a great rim protection and whatnot. But look at the money you save if you keep Duran and don't go in the route of bringing Mitch back. Now, I'm not saying just give up on Mitch. I understand the logic of keeping Mitch, but I just think if you think in rebuild already, you got your young rebuilding center,
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
but
and
was
you
this
my
is the
actually
idea.
go.
thing. Mitch was signed. Mitch didn't go against our salary cap because he was signed after we used our cap. He was signed with over the cap money.
Right.
Okay, I understand. I
Yeah,
understand.
Yeah.
we can do
Yeah,
that.
So, but yeah. So we signed whoever we needed to sign, and then we went over the cap to sign Mitchell Robinson, which would have
and it
been
doesn't
very
count as
different
Mitch.
had we signed him first.
Yeah. Okay.
Then
Right,
that
I
would
right,
have
see.
right,
took up the cap space. But we signed
right.
whoever we wanted to sign, Brunson, Hartenstein, or whatever, and then you go over the cap to sign
Mitch.
Mitchell. Yeah, to sign Mitch. The only thing I can think of is whatever the Knicks are trying to do. They're trying to get back to the playoffs sooner than later. That they felt having an experienced center was better for what they're trying to do over
Yeah.
bringing along another rookie because Doran was my pick too.
Yes, I love
As
doing. I
opposed
love.
to re-signing Mitch, I thought he can come in and get 8 and 8
Yeah.
in his rookie season. Though I think,
Right.
as Sam alluded to, I don't think Doran would have known the nuances of the game and the
Yeah.
nuances of the position, and bigs get into foul trouble. It takes them a little while, so I'm pretty sure the Knicks probably felt, you know, let Mitch
Okay.
rock. He's been in our
Well, I got
system
one
for
more question,
years.
and I'm going to step back, Queen. Question to the panel: do you think Duran's upside is higher than Mitch's?
I do.
Yeah, of course.
Well, that's why I make the deal. That's why I get it.
Yeah, he's definitely has a higher ceiling.
All right. I appreciate you. We got to let Anthony A in.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Salute, Marvin. Salute.
Hello, sir. How
Salute,
are you?
Queen. Hail to the Queen.
I
I,
appreciate you for joining us.
of
What's
course.
your thoughts on free agency or Mitch or whatever you wanted to share today?
Well, I don't know if you remember. I called you before, and I was the one who said if we went with the youth, you had said we're going to win 25 games. I was going to buy your tickets plus one
Mm-hmm.
if they won less than 40 games.
Mm-hmm.
So the dealers has to be changed now because we didn't stick with the youth. We actually made some serious
Oh,
moves.
that's my. I wasn't gonna hunt you down for that.
Oh no, I was gonna
He
honor it.
came on like, listen, it's changed now. Don't come looking
Exactly.
for me.
So what I want to talk about is I'm giving the front office a B minus. I also wish I'd done the Duran deal. I like Mitch, but again, I would have gone with that more upside center, and then Harkenstein would be fine to help develop Sims and Duran. I think I've been just as fine.
Mm-hmm.
Not about the real money. I mean, yeah, Mitch should get some money. I didn't not 15 mil, maybe 12 mil. But other than that, I'm looking at this year coming up. As we sit right now, I see us able to break the 500 mark. I can see 44 wins.
Okay.
Of course, I hope we'll get to the Randall, and that may bring us back to 40, 38, 40 wins. But I'm okay with either of those scenarios right now because I see the development. But like you, I want a winning team. I want to go to the playoffs, but I'm okay to compromise right now and follow this current game plan. So, just want to know if how you feel right now because I know you want to win, but are you okay with
I
what they are right
listen.
now?
I do want to win. I think it's a step by step process. I think bringing Brunson in was, another step toward that. I don't think, we still need to at some point either develop or trade for a star. You look at these playoff teams; they all have one, even two. We don't
Mhm.
have that
Right.
just yet. So At some point, we're gonna have to get it, and I'm okay with the Knicks not spending multiple first round picks on somebody who's not a star. You got to keep your capital, you got to keep your assets until that star becomes available, and that's when you pounce. So if we don't make any other changes this offseason and we go into the to next season with this, I see 37 to 40, 42 wins, and I'm okay with it. I'm not, if we don't make the play in, I'm all right with it for this roster. Um, and the state of the more our roster, but more about the state of the Eastern Conference, just how tough it is.
Right.
Yeah.
True.
And would you make this deal right now for KD, or would you make a deal for KD first of all? Would you make a deal for KD at all? Would you consider it?
I would consider it. I just think it changes everything because of his timeline. You got maybe 4 years to get it done. So you're gonna have to get off the rest of these kids quick and bring in a more of a veteran team to go with KD. Maybe keep a young player or two that you think can contribute, but he's not somebody that you're going to be really counting on. It just changes the whole trajectory of the team if you bring KD in, and you might even have to move RJ to get a star. Because bringing
Right.
KD in with this team right here, what does that do? You're not a
No.
championship contender, I don't think.
Okay.
Um, but so then you would have to, look at the rest of your assets and go out and get another star to go with him.
I think in order for you, you have to inquire about KD. Like I think you might need to be fired if you haven't. Like you have to inquire. I think just as a front office, just to do your job, you have to inquire if he wants to come to your team.
Right.
I know this
Is that,
afternoon
is
was a
that
big.
us? No, I don't think so. But yeah, you have to inquire if he would want to join your team.
And if he does,
Then we have a conversation. Then we'll have a conversation. But until then, I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I'm not giving him nothing. Like
Anyway, like I always said, the queen is almost always right, even when she's wrong. Her logic is correct. I'm gonna keep saying that because you bring the knowledge, and here comes another man with knowledge right there next to me.
I be
I'm on
wrong
this
though, but
side.
I still be strong with it, even when I'm wrong.
Exactly.
we are wrong, but so what? I don't care if
That's
I'm
what it's
wrong.
about, Steph.
Much
Hey,
Yeah.
respect, much respect to all of you, man. I'm gonna be on. Keep listening. You guys keep me alive here in LA. So thank you so much for keeping LA with the Knicks Nation in our air. Thank you.
salute.
Appreciate it.
Salute.
How you appreciate you?
I wish
Um,
I would care if I'm wrong. It's people that get paid that don't care that they're wrong. I'm not getting. I don't care if I'm wrong.
That's what I'm
right.
for real. I'm with you on that.
It is what it is.
Whatever.
How you doing, Sim?
I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. I feel good.
Salute, Sam. Salute.
And salute.
Happy about? I know we was on earlier today. So was it today? The days is
Yes,
just
it
it was
was
today. All right.
Run the game, right?
Run
That
into-
was the day.
um, so I know you liked Brunson, and then you said earlier about the Hartenstein move.
Yeah.
So I'm just asking you what I've asked the rest of the panel. Are we better? And where does that put us in the Eastern Conference?
Yeah. I think we're better. I don't think we're an automatic playoff team. Me personally, we were having this discussion earlier. I'm disappointed if we're below 500. I want to be 500 or better.
Word.
You know what I mean? I think we could have been 500 or better this year, if just a couple of games break right. So I
Yep.
definitely want to be 500 or better this year. If we're 500 or better, but we don't make the play-in, I'm not going to be disappointed for that because I know how deep the East is, right?
Right.
I mean, the East is a monster right now.
Mm-hmm.
It is a monster right now. So, it's hard to make the play-in right now in the Eastern Conference. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if we're like 41-41 or 42-40 or something like that, and we don't make the play-in, I wouldn't be upset. I would look and say, okay, we're taking steps. Now, what do we do next to continue to elevate the team?
Yeah. Do you think chemistry is going to have a lot to do with it as well? That, if things break right and we really gel as a team, that we can actually, I don't know if you want to call it overachieve, but do better than expected if we gel.
Right. And that's with this team. I think chemistry is going to, with the way that this team is constructed, it's going to be a lot about chemistry.
Yeah.
I think, Jalen Brunson He's not a super duper star, but I think he is a chemistry type guy. Just as with his style of play and what he can do. I think he's a chemistry guy. And then Hartenstein, I think, is one of those guys that just produces chemistry. Right, you could probably play him with just about any lineup, and he can be productive because he can shoot the ball. He can play the five. He can play the four. He can block shots. You know, um, so I think both of the guys are like chemistry type guys, and I think that's what we were missing last year. We
Mm-hmm.
didn't add chemistry type guys really with Fournier and Kemba. We tried to go
Right.
for gusto on the offensive side. I think this year we added more chemistry to the team.
No
And,
doubt
and
about
the team is constructed better. It just fits better. Last year was awkward,
it. Right.
right, with the fit. I think this year it just fits better with the way that the team is constructed. So I think that should help a lot.
Right. What are your thoughts? We talked about this earlier on Brunson's effect on Randall. Do you think that Randall handles the ball less? And and he may get the same shots, but I mean in terms of facilitation. And do you think if that's the case, he becomes more efficient if you kind of just tone his game down a little bit?
Yeah, I do. I think so. I think he becomes, I don't know how much more efficient from the 3-point line. Maybe he goes up a couple percentage points, but around the basket, I think you can take that pressure off of him and just say, "Hey, go play the traditional power forward role, bang up some guys down there and score, get to the line." Yeah, he did a great job getting to the line last year. There was a point in
Yes.
time when him and RJ Barrett were getting to the line like 8 times per game or something like that.
Hmm.
And with Brunson getting him the ball, and hopefully he's able to get him the ball in his comfortable spots, comfort zones. You know what I mean? He'll be able to he'll be able to brew some people up down there. And yeah, so I do think he becomes more efficient. And hopefully, Brunson takes a lot of pressure off of him so we don't have to deal as much with the mental side of the game, with Randall, and he can just focus on playing his game. I think he's going to come on. I'm hoping that he really did learn from last year, and regardless of
Right.
Brunson, he's coming in like, what, I'm going to tune the crowd out no matter what they're saying and what they're doing. I'm just going to play. Hopefully he comes in with that mindset. But I think Brunson helps a lot, and I don't discount Rick Brunson either
Mm-hmm.
being there. You know what I mean? And just the type of guy that he is. I mean, look, if you look at Rick Brunson now, if I'm 27 years old and I see him coming in, I'm thinking twice before I say too much or slap a laptop or something like that out of his hand.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I
Right.
think he has that kind of presence, and I think that's what you need for Randall. That kind of presence. And I don't discount Rick Brunson too.
Man, if he slapped that
Yo, you right,
laptop out
man.
of
I
Rick
seen him the
Brunson
other
hand,
day. He looking big, man.
it's gonna be a
He
problem.
looking. He got that old
It is
man
not going to be
strength,
the
yo.
same
Right.
reaction
It's not gonna
at
be
all.
different.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be doing that to Brunson,
No
to
way.
Rick Brunson.
Right.
And then also, I think, Randall and everybody else knows how tied in Brunson is. So I don't
Yeah.
think Brunson has to come in and kind of find his space and tiptoe around and hope that, like, he coming in from the beginning, like, Tibbs knew me since I was born.
Yep.
Um, Rose
Yep.
is my
Right.
godfather.
Yep.
Right.
I don't care if this is just my first 10 days on this team. I'm good. You know what I
Exactly.
Right.
mean?
Right. Right.
And I
Exactly.
don't think, and I think Randall needs that because you can look at Brunson. I don't care if he's 6'1", you're not pushing him around.
Right.
Like that's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So I think he's gonna be good, for Randall. I think he's gonna be good for RJ. I think he's gonna be good for all of our teams. And the thing about it is he's gonna lead. We talked about how Randall is not a leader and how we're counting on RJ at 21 years old that he's more of a leader than Randall is. There's going to be no question about Brunson's leadership ability on this team and in the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he's going to have any problem saying something. If he need to say something to Randall or whoever, I don't see him having a problem.
Yeah, me either.
No,
I agree.
I agree.
And I think that's gonna be good for Randall. I think. I think it's gonna be really good for him. I wonder what kind of relationship they already have.
Mm, that's a
Mm,
You know,
that's a good question.
that's a good question.
yeah, because Randall's from Dallas, and I'm sure he goes back to Dallas. And we know he goes back to Dallas to train and those things. Yeah, I just wonder if they've already had a relationship. You know,
Geraldine wants to know: do we bring in an offensive assistant coach?
Man, we talk about this. Tibbs had us looking like blue chips last year. I hated our offense.
So,
So we'll see.
what would you do different, if anything, with Brunson, offensively?
Mm, man, I don't know.
Can
Yeah,
I
I
can
think
I
with
answer
this,
that question?
yes, you can.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think actually the Hartenstein kid is gonna be really good for Brunson
Yeah,
because in some sort of way and fashion you can give the ball to him and let Brunson like slide to the two in the offensive sets and like just spot up and shoot a lot because that's what he does all the time. Like Luke Kennard was his favorite target, and if he can find a Luke Kennard on the team, and which is probably going to be Fournier if he sticks with us, but it could be anybody. If anybody's open, he's going to find you, and I think Brunson is going to really like playing with him, and that's going to open up the floor for him, so he doesn't have to, be the brains of the offense all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I think that's going to be real good for him, and that can open up his game. He might score around 4 more points just off Hartenstein.
yeah. I do think Hartenstein was brought in. Well, I mean, the Knicks knew that they needed a five that could stretch the floor,
Right,
but also for Brunson. When you look at, I look back at the way that he played with KP. The pick and pop at the top of the key.
Hmm.
Sometimes KP flash into the foul line, and Brunson can find him flash into the foul line.
right,
I think those are some things that Hartenstein could do. I also think that you're going to see more screen and roll between Randall and
right.
Brunson. You've seen it some last year with Kemba and Randall, but it's a
Hmm.
little bit difficult when you have a guy, Mitch, still roaming around the basket. So when you have times that you bring Hartenstein in, you have Randall and Brunson on the floor. Now Hartenstein can go out, hang out on the wing somewhere or in the corner, and you
Hmm.
open up more lanes for Randall in that pick and roll,
Right,
for RJ in a pick and roll, or RJ penetrating to the basket, or Brunson penetrating to the basket. I also see 2 years ago, and I'm gonna bring up Alfred Payton's name, but Alfred
oh,
Payton could get to the
Alfred Payton's name is welcome here.
right. But Payton could get to the basket anytime he wanted, right? He would get to the cup, but he missed 50% of those layups.
He
And it
did.
would it would just burn you up like, oh my gosh, why is this guy getting to the basket whenever he wants, but he can't make a layup? Right. So I picture Brunson playing some of the same type of role that Peyton did, except when he gets to the basket, he can finish and he
Right,
can knock down a three. Last year from our guard spot, like Kemba couldn't get to the basket like that. He didn't have the burst. Burks wasn't the type of guy that was going to get to the basket in that way. Brunson can, and he's going to finish. So when you look at, when I go back and I look at how Peyton played with this team and his ability to penetrate and get to the basket, he couldn't finish. But with Brunson, he's going to be able to finish, which means the defense is going to be forced to collapse. I think with Peyton, sometimes the defense didn't collapse. They're like, hey, he might not make it. So, don't collapse on him because he might not make it. So there wasn't anyone to kick it out to. Brunson's going to make it. So now the
right,
defense is going to collapse. And he's going to be a better passer than Randall when he's kicking it out to people. You know what I mean? So now you see guys with hopefully wide open shots and they're catching the ball in that shooter's pocket a little bit better. And hopefully it helps their rhythm in knocking down those shots. So
right.
I see, Tibbs kind of letting Brunson run some screen and roll,
Hmm.
uh, and being like I'm not calling him Chris Paul, but when you have Chris Paul on the team, you kind of say, here's our offense, now go run it.
Right,
And I'm hoping that that's what Tibbs can do with Brunson. Here's our offense, you go run it and make the decisions out there on the floor.
right,
Maybe that might take a little bit of time for it to get to that type of familiarity and chemistry between the two. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think they're already going to have the relationship, but then the basketball chemistry on the floor, I think it'll take a little bit of time, but eventually I think that's what they're hoping he can get to, where you just give him the ball, let him run it, and now you can make other adjustments out there.
Right.
I mean, and because
Right.
your point guard can run it. And I think it's going to be like that. I think the ball's going to be in his hands, and he's going to kind of control everything out there on the floor. That's what I'm hoping happens.
Yeah,
And I
that's
hope
what
he
I'm
can do
hoping
it.
as
I hope
well.
he can do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now that we do have a real point guard, one person I would like to see, we haven't mentioned him. I would like to see Brunson and Obi run the
Yeah.
pick and roll. I would like to see that.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
think they should start doing. I don't know, just by the way they use Obi, we didn't have a point guard, so the way that we use him now, that we have Brunson, should be a lot different.
Right. Yeah. Let's see how much time they get on the floor together, right? Because
Right.
if they time overlaps,
Hmm.
let's see how that goes. Any concerns about IQ? Not necessarily in this chat, but I've heard that if you bring a point guard in, I never agreed with the stunt the development argument. But how does Brunson? Do you think Brunson helps or hinders IQ? Let me put it that way.
I like the pairing
Mm.
myself. I think there's some times in the second unit, some minutes in there where, and that'll be a dynamic um lineup if you have Brunson, IQ, and Obi out there, because they'll be so quick, and good passers and stuff. So I think they can both play off each other. He's not going to be a hindrance to him at all. Brunson's going to be good for everybody on the team.
Yeah. I think that IQ is going to play his game.
Hmm.
I think he's that kind of person. He's going to play his game. Uh, you know, uh, you're looking now, people were asking for him to be the starting point guard. He's not going to be the starting point guard unless he just blows you away with things that he can do. And even then, you just paid Brunson. He's going to be
Right.
a starting point
Right.
guard.
Right.
Right,
You know
right,
what I'm
right.
saying?
Right.
He's going to be a starting point guard. So I think he continues to try to develop his game and learn how to be the point guard. But I also think you want IQ to play his basketball game too.
Right.
You know,
Hmm.
He's good at. I think he plays better when he plays free,
Right.
and I think in that second unit, with he's able to be the
Right.
leader of that second unit and
Mhm.
play free, just play basketball and be him. And I think that's when you're going to get the best IQ. I don't think it's going to stunt his development because I never really looked at him as that kind of a point guard anyway. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's going to stunt his growth. I
Right.
think he's going to continue to be who he is and get better at who he is.
I don't think it would be a problem at all, especially the way he played with Derrick Rose. I
Right.
actually like when Derrick Rose and him was on the floor at the same time. So if he
Right.
can play like that with Derrick Rose, I think him and Brunson, say if they did get on the court at the same time, which they will, it might be our fourth quarter backcourt. I think it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the bringing up Derrick Rose now. Where does Derrick Rose does where does Derrick Rose fit in the rotation, and is that more of a concern for IQ's minutes than Brunson?
Derrick Rose is my guy. I like Derrick Rose.
I know what's coming. I know what's coming.
I mean, he's my guy,
That's funny.
but
You my guy, man. But
I don't know where, really right now on this. I don't know. We can't really depend on him because he's in and out of the lineup. I honestly think it's probably best for the Knicks. I don't think it's going to happen because of the relationship with Tom Thibodeau. And I think it's probably best for the Knicks for him to move on, really. That's what I
Yeah.
think probably best for the team
move on how?
to another team.
Like move on how? Like you think we trading? You like
Trading.
somebody's gonna trade for Derrick Rose
Uh,
and 14 million?
Maybe.
I don't think anyone's going to trade for him right
Okay.
now. So you probably got to deal with him for this year. Then he probably moves and goes on back to Chicago. If I was the Knicks, I would have tried to get him off to Chicago for, but I know they needed to trade,
Right.
they needed to sign Zach LaVine, so that wasn't going to work. Because just knowing the way that they operate, the Knicks, they're not going to move him to any place he doesn't want to be.
Right.
Right. That's
I understand that.
Let's see. So, and knowing Derrick Rose and who he is, if it comes to that point where he can't, he's not going to be if they need to play Cam and Grimes and this and that, I think Rose would be like, all right, you know what, I'll just come off the bench when you need me. I think he will do that. So
Yeah.
and
Right.
that'll be okay then. I mean, you're paying
Right.
14 million for the guy
Right.
to
He would be fine
Right.
doing that.
I
Right.
think
Right.
he'll do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, because when we talk about the glut, I mean that's part of it. Because if you play IQ and roles, where's Grimes, Reddish, Hartenstein,
Yep.
Obi? There's an odd person. There's an odd man out.
Yeah. Right.
Yep.
Somebody is gonna have to sit
Right.
and be situational.
Yeah. Right. That's the thing. Because Tibbs ain't playing 11 every night.
Mm-mm.
You
No.
know that.
No,
He's not playing
no.
11 guys every night.
Mhm.
I mean, so I think D Rose would do that
Yeah.
because someone's gonna need a break. Someone's gonna get hurt. Someone's gonna have this or that. He'll get enough
Right.
time to play. And he might even welcome being like, you know what, I'm okay just being situational. Play me when you need me. When we need to, me and Taj will come in and save the day when we got to. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I
And
hope they would try to. I hope they would think like that, because then that'll solve a lot of problems.
yeah,
If they go to the coach and say, well, Taj, not as much, but Rose, if he goes to the coach and says, listen, just play me when you need me, like I'm gonna be here for the guys,
mhm,
then I don't mind
Right.
keeping him on my bench. I mean, he's only has 1 year left on his deal.
Right.
I don't mind him being around because I
right,
like I like his aura around the team.
yep,
It's
Yeah.
just it's
Yeah.
just the if he wants playing time, then that's where the problem lies for me.
yeah, yeah. And it may not even lie with Rose. It may lie with Tibbs. Tibbs is gonna go with who he trusts, and he knows he can trust. He can trust Rose, or he puts his trust in Rose. But this might, maybe this is just a year that Rose has to do that. Look at Andre Iguodala with Golden State in the championship. He was just as much as part of that win,
Hmm.
you know, championship as every other player that was on the team. You seen him on the bench, barking at players on the court, saying this, saying that, teaching this, teaching that. And he was a big part of them winning the championship. And,
Hmm.
I think Rose can play that type of role here and, with the team to be successful. And when somebody like, if Brunson, needs a break to sit out, or Emmanuel quickly, or, somebody like that needs to take a break, then, Cam Reddish might end up getting hurt. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. Right.
Derek
Yeah.
be right there, stepping,
Right. Right.
stepping in place.
Right. I think um getting quickly back to his role that first season, like that's how I see his role. Somebody that's coming in, off the bench, like you said, Sim, he's playing free. He's not worrying about when can I shoot, when can I get others involved. He's
Yeah.
that flamethrower.
Yep.
Obviously you do want him to play within the flow of the offense, of course, but I don't know about him having like playmaking responsibilities. I think that kind of takes away, from his game some. So I think him getting back to how we used them that first year, I think is going to be great for us, and I think it's great for him. He can play more free, and I think it's going to be good for us as well. The only thing about it is we got to go back to his shot selection, because when he didn't have playmaking responsibilities and he was out there with another point guard,
Yeah, he was letting them go.
oh,
But well, I mean, honestly, if
that's
you
when
want
he
to
would
talk
pull
about
up
that
from
was
the
his job.
logo.
That was his job, though, Steph. That was his job to let him go.
Yo, and
Yeah.
I don't wanna sound like a Hartenstein stan, but yo, he's gonna be good for IQ if he wants to play that too. Those screen handoffs. I mean, he's really good at stuff like that, man, and that's IQ's like best suit too. So it's gonna help him feel like, even though he's playing the one, it's gonna help him feel like he's a two when he's on the court with a guy like that.
I like him
Yeah.
passing the ball. Like he can find the open man. He's really good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I think that was super. That
That was a good
signing right
pickup.
there is super underrated, man. That's why
Yeah.
I got a lot of faith in this regime right here, and how they pluck and sign and do they things.
Yeah, shout out to Rayology who's bringing up a good point, and you're right. I'll read it first. there are some that don't understand the value of elder statesmen in a locker room full of kids. Guys like a Rose and Taj are crucial to the culture. I hope we bring Melo in here as well. And you know what? In hindsight, keep Rose. He's not going to have a problem being situational at all.
I
I've
agree.
seen locker rooms go wild. I've seen, depending if, especially if you don't have mature young players, they can get real petty and
Mhm.
things of that. And you need them elder statements to kind of bring you back and be like, yo, this is what we're trying to accomplish.
Right.
So yeah, having a Taj in that locker room, we're a pretty young team. Having
Yeah.
a Taj, a Rose, if we do bring Melo, that's tight as far as having them elder statesmen in the locker room. That's a good point,
Right.
reality.
And you know what? I think, just as we talking through this, I've been saying for the last couple of shows, put D Rose and Evan Fournier in a package to, clear cap space to try to do this, that, and the third. But I mean, that's not gonna happen. And I think I'm, kind of leaning towards what you just said. Yeah,
Yeah.
Rose in there because I don't think he'll have a problem being situational. Melo, on the other hand,
Yeah.
I was waiting for that. I was like, I'm gonna
I ain't
just let
want
him
to. I ain't want to
finish.
touch that. I ain't want to
I
touch
was just
that.
gonna let y'all finish. Like Melo ain't doing that, man.
he
Nah.
ain't doing that at all.
Melo's still trying to get buckets.
Yeah, he gonna
Yeah.
be like, hold
And
up,
he
you
still
want me?
can.
He still can.
Yeah, he still can. Right. He's gonna be, oh, you want me to sit behind Obi? Really?
Right?
And not play? Nah, it's not happening. I don't think Melo's doing that. I would love to have Melo back, but I just don't think he's doing that.
And you know what? Uh, he wouldn't have to, because I really think Tibbs would run him out there.
I think he would too.
I think Tibbs would run him out there. I think Tibbs has a lot of respect for him, a lot of respect for, vets, especially if you can still play, and especially if you got a high IQ, which Melo does. So we're gonna be having, I can see us now post game talking about why Melo got more time than Obi,
And Obi,
Yeah, we can't.
right,
because
They
he'd be
can't let
playing the
that
four.
happen.
He'd
They
probably
can't
be
let that
playing the four
happen.
position.
Yo,
right.
fans will go crazy.
They would bug out.
They would go
Oh my
crazy
They
if
would
Melo get more minutes than him.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. They'll go nuts.
Yeah.
they would go. And he would probably be good for Obi. Just learning the game of basketball, being able to have Melo there every day to help him work
Right.
on that footwork. Always talking about
Right.
footwork with him, right?
Yes,
Work
I
on
was
that
about to say
footwork
that too.
to
They
be
would
around
be.
If
RJ on that.
Obi was starting,
Yeah.
I
I was
would
about to say
totally
the
look
same
at
thing
that.
too.
Yeah.
If Obi was the starter for
Oh, yeah.
the team, I would
If
totally look
Randall
at
was,
that.
yeah,
But in this situation here,
right.
it's tough, man.
I think if Randall wasn't here, it'd be a no-brainer.
But
Right.
this is the question though. Forget us wanting Obi to get reps. Say they all went into training camp. Would Carmelo beat out Obi, or would Obi beat out Carmelo?
I
I
would
think
say
Obi.
that Melo
I
will beat
think
him out. I
Yeah.
mean,
nah.
not Melo.
I think Obi would beat him
I
up.
think what Obi would beat him out.
You think so? I don't.
Yeah,
I think Melo would beat him out.
I don't
It's
know.
just it's just the youth would just
Like if you
when
can't beat out
While
Melo,
Melo's
like,
taking 2 steps, Obi's already down the floor.
Yeah, but the Knicks played more of a half court game.
right, that might not matter.
I'm saying it might not matter because Melo's gonna be able to. You know what Melo could do,
Yeah,
and
yeah, I know what he could do.
Obi can't do those things.
No,
Man. He can't do those things. I think that
that's
Melo
tough.
would beat Obi out right now. Still,
I know
That's a
one thing.
horrible question. Who took that? Who threw that question out there? Is that you, Jarrell?
No, that
No,
That was
was
a
that
not
was
me.
horrible
That was
question.
tough. Here's the thing,
but
though.
this is what JJ
I
is saying. Oh, sorry,
okay.
go ahead.
I was about to say Obi better beat him out though.
Obi wouldn't beat out Melo at this at this
I'm just
point,
saying. Like
because
next year go be his contract year. He better beat out Melo.
right?
I'm just saying for his sake.
right,
He needs to beat out Melo for his sake.
right.
Or something is wrong. Like
So for JJ, not a win now team, give Obi the minutes over Melo. So now
that's not
it's
how it
not
works.
even about whether or not Obi is better than Melo and can beat him out. It's more about, oh, we're not trying to win now. Give Obi the minutes to help his development. And listen, there are definitely organizations who do that. Depending on where you are in your team development and what you're trying to do, they
Mhm.
will give a younger guy the minutes, even though they're not better than the vet. And if that happens, that would be the case here because he
Yeah, he's
averaged with the
better. Yeah,
Lakers. He
yeah.
still averaged what 14 points, 12
Yeah.
points,
Right,
and I'm not sure how many minutes.
right.
I think the difference between Melo and Obi is defensively there might not be much difference,
Right.
and
Damn.
offensively,
Yo, if that's the case,
I
Obi
mean
still
for
has a
different,
problem.
for different reasons, for different reasons, and offensively, Obi's game is limited,
Right.
Mm,
and Melo's is not.
Right.
And Melo knows how to play the game. You know what I mean? In terms of moving the ball, playing within an offense, and he's clutch. So if he gets a shot, an open shot down the stretch, you would. If you have the ball in your hand and you're looking and both of them on the floor and it's 5 seconds left and you see Obi on one side and you see
that's not
Melo on the
fair.
other side and Melo is 45 years old, you giving the
That's
ball to
not.
Melo to take that
Nah,
shot.
If Melo was 65, I'll still give it to him. That's not a fair question though. That's not fair.
No, so what I'm no,
That's
so I get
Melo
it.
over there. Like
I get
I
it.
know.
If
that's top
you're
75 over there.
I get it. If you're prioritizing development, you give Obi the minutes. If you're prioritizing winning and you're going for the best player at the position and who fits best with the team around you, don't even bring Melo in. Because if that's what you're doing, I think
Right,
he's
right.
gonna get more minutes than Obi because his package at what 36, his
Yeah.
offensive package is still pretty
Yeah.
good. I don't think it's elite like it used to be, but it's still pretty good.
Nah,
Still,
it's he can still get, I guess, any shot he
yeah.
wants.
Did,
Yeah.
did Melo say somewhere that this was going to be his last year?
No, I don't think so.
I didn't
I
hear
think the
that.
media is just pushing that
Because
narrative
I
right
keep
now.
seeing it
Yeah, they want him to retire, but no, I
stuff.
don't think
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I keep seeing tweets like, Melo, the Knicks wouldn't mind him playing his farewell, playing his farewell year and stuff like that. And I'm like, wait, did
Right,
he say something?
so. Right.
Yeah,
right.
I wouldn't mind it though, but yeah, Obi will have a serious problem. I'm telling you, that would throw a wrench in all of his team's plans if they got Melo in here.
yeah, it
So
They'll
would.
the
probably have
Lakers
to.
are like putting his signing on hold just because they have everybody wants to play with them, who it's hard for them to get right
Right.
now, and
Mhm.
that's what it is. That's what's happening right now.
Probably. Like if they have a chance of getting KD and Kyrie, they're not going to sign Melo or anybody else now either.
Right.
They shouldn't.
Yeah. Sherwin, I think Jalen Smith went to the Pacers, Indiana. I think I read that somewhere.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
signed for a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
I actually
Yeah.
thought he was going to be better than what he is coming out of college too. Like I don't. He hasn't
That's
been
Uh,
the
that
thing.
as impressive as I thought he would be, to be honest.
Yeah.
yeah, I never was really big on him.
I thought he was going to be cool, but I thought he was going to be better than what he is now.
I think the stretch four type moniker that was given to him, I think that's what made him a
Probably.
more sexier pick than what he really came out to be at this point in time. Right? He still
Yeah.
has time to grow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else pertaining to Brunson, Hartenstein, our rotation?
You think we done?
I was just about that. I think that's like the major question
Because I
that's
don't
left.
think we're done.
If we're not done, whatever we do would probably have to be on the trade market unless we
Yeah.
convert this Brunson thing to a sign and trade. And I'm okay with that too because I think the free agent market has kind of dried up, other than KD.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who else is out there on the free agent market that can really help us.
Yeah, I was
I,
thinking trade,
yeah,
to be honest.
Gobert went to Minnesota, and now I'm hearing that they want to retool the offense around Donovan Mitchell. So
Right.
Mitchell is probably not available. Um, so I'm not even sure what's out there. Levine signed, in Chicago. So in terms of signing trades, I'm not sure.
It's
That's true.
very there's it's very slim pickings at this point in time. Even DiVincenzo's gone.
Right.
Um,
I was talking to Steph about that earlier. He went to the Warriors. Like,
yeah,
that's
they
crazy.
lost they lost GP3 or GP
Yep.
two.
Mhm.
So that probably is the reason why. I
That's a
think
nice. He's a nice addition to that team,
What
DiVincenzo.
else?
Yes, he is. Like
Like the
He
rich
can
keep
shoot the ball
getting
better
richer.
than
Right.
he can
He
shoot the
shoots
ball better than GP.
right.
Right. He's not that stopper though. But yeah.
Offensively,
Mhm.
he fits in perfectly
Yeah.
Yep.
because he can let it go, and he's athletic.
Hmm.
Yeah, I see
Yeah.
the Knicks if we do something. I think it's like in a sneaky type way. If like KD gets traded somewhere, like the Knicks will be there in like a third team to try to solidify something to get a second round pick somewhere. Some sneaky type thing like that, like they always do. But anything major, I think this is actually the team that we're gonna go with to begin the season.
Yeah. Because I'm looking at the free agency list. Most of these guys have signed.
Yeah.
Bobo is still out there.
Nah, he
Nah, he
signed too.
signed too.
Bobo signed.
Yeah,
He
with
went to Orlando.
Orlando. Yeah, 2 year deal.
Who's out there?
Wow.
What do you guys think about T.J. Warren?
Yeah, we talked about him a
That
little
I,
injury
earlier.
scares me, man.
Yeah, that injury scares me, but you know, I think it
He was
depends
already
on.
slow of foot.
listen.
Yeah,
You
that's
see
true.
what Boston had to give up for Brogdon. If we have to give up a bag of chips to bring T.J. Warren in to
Right.
see, do it.
They gave up nothing for Brogdon.
Nothing for Brock. Right. Nothing.
What's his contract like? Does he have a lot of money?
Who's
Let's see
that?
what it
I have to look.
Um,
I'll look it up quick
yeah,
here.
T.J. Warren is still out there. Jeremy
Oh no, he's a free
Lambs.
agent, you saying?
I
Yeah,
think he's a free agent.
Yeah, he's a free
Oh,
agent,
okay,
I think.
okay.
he's a free agent.
So, I
Oh,
mean,
that's true. We wouldn't even have to give up anything.
yeah, you might be able to sign him for the veterans minimum.
But what about
That's a
See,
different
would you
ball
bring
game there.
him in given the glut we still
I was
have?
about to say, all right, now, like, why would now we have to think why would TJ do that?
I'm all for bringing in the best players and just having them fight it out
For it
and
too.
Right, me too. I'm just saying, like, for him to come to here for the vet minimum, I don't see that. I don't know.
And then the poor Miles Bridges kid is still out there. Well, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
Colin
I'm gonna take
Sexton is
that
out
back.
there.
I'm gonna take that back. I'm just gonna say Miles Bridges is still out there.
Right.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Um.
Yeah, that's all. I saw the stuff. It
What
ain't
else
look
do we
good.
need? We got the stretch five. I mean, two things on our wish list, at least on mine:
Defense.
a stretch five and a point guard. We
Right.
clicked the boxes, even though Sherman was quick to tell us that we shouldn't. Basically, we shouldn't consider Hartenstein a stretch five because he only took 33 pointers, and that he's basically another Mitch. I don't
No
agree.
way.
I
He
don't.
shot
I don't
33
agree.
pointers, but he made almost half of them.
How many 3-pointers did Mitch shoot last year?
Zero.
Zero. Exactly.
Exactly.
So no, it's not the same. And
I
plus, with the
think.
ball in his hand, he is a completely different player than Mitch.
Yeah.
Like the way he passes the ball, they don't play like each other at all, or offense
Yeah.
or defense. That's why
Yeah.
I
I
actually
do
think,
like that aspect of his game.
right. I think they complement each other well because they're not like each other at all to me.
Now,
Right.
Sam, you talked about it earlier. I know teams are going small, but you would go big.
I think you could. I think you might be able to go big with those two guys. From time to time, not all the time,
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
think
yeah,
you
yeah.
can. Like if let's say you're playing against Minnesota, that has Rudy Gobert and Carl
Yeah.
Anthony Towns now,
Right.
right?
Right.
You might be able to go big for stretches because Hartenstein can shoot from the perimeter,
Right.
right? So you might be able to match up Mitch with Gobert and Hartenstein with Carl Anthony Towns. You know what I mean? For stretches.
Mhm.
Right.
Doesn't have to be long, but for stretches, you
Right.
know. You might be able to do that. So I wouldn't be afraid to do that from time to time. You know what I
That
mean? Depending on
flexibility.
who's playing.
So yeah, that's true. If we can get, I mean, we got Cam. Because I said we need a 6'8" small, but we have Cam for that. But if we had somebody that we can really go small with, like
You talk about on defense, like,
uh, uh, like that we could play small ball. I mean, Tibbs doesn't like
well,
to play Randall and Obi together. Is
I was
there
about to say
anybody that we can get that he
naturally.
would feel comfortable playing at that five?
I'm about to say naturally it would be Randall.
Playing Randall at the
Randall
five.
is like 6'8" though.
But yeah, but that's what I mean. It would be somebody like that though,
Right.
6'8", 6'9" ish, that can rebound and play defense. Naturally, it should be him.
I think the Hartenstein kid's game, even though he's 7 foot, like it's kind of like putting out a small. If you put him there with Obi or whoever you want to put, or maybe even Cam at the four, it kind of like lends himself to a player that would be a small ball five. You know what I'm saying? Because
The way he
uh,
plays.
the way he
Right.
plays, like he brings the center or whoever is playing him out to the 3 point line most of the
Right.
time.
Right.
Right.
So then, even if it's a small ball center,
Right.
like let's say they're playing Golden State and Draymond's the five, he's still bringing Draymond out to the 3 point line, and they usually play or either Wiggins at the four or Otto at. Well, this last year they play like Otto Porter, so they're losing a lot of um, defensive protection down low.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like on the offensive side, it's pretty good because on the offensive side he lends himself to a small ball lineup, and on the
Mhm.
defensive side he's still big enough to defend the rim. So I think that's part of their thinking when it comes to a player like him, man. I'm really high on that kid.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at T.J. Warren. And man,
Salivating, you
if
salivating,
How tall
sitting
is
on
he, Sam?
TJ,
he's
6'8".
6'8",
6'8".
He's 6'8".
Yeah.
6'8", 220.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Small
dang.
prototypical small forward.
Yeah, he's like 28 years old. If he would take the veterans minimum, play for the Knicks, bro, I'd do it. I would take the chance. What do you got to lose? It's the veterans minimum.
Hmm.
Right.
You
I
know,
think he would have to. We would. I think it'll take more than get him to do that though.
Yeah, he gave us like 50 one time.
I don't see him taking the vet minimum for anybody. I think he,
mid
even
level,
though he's
mid level,
mid level, there you go.
mid
Mid
level.
But do
level,
we got
yes,
any cap space left? Probably none, right?
The Knicks can use that mid level exception, I believe.
yeah.
That's
We have a
true.
mid
And we
level
can
exception
always
too.
waive Taj,
You can waive ties and pay him
Yes,
Hmm.
the veterans minimum.
yes.
bring him back on
We
the
still
vet
got
minimum.
Archie
Now we're
Diacono.
talking.
Right? You
We
can,
still
yeah.
got Archie Diacono. I don't know if he got
Waive
the
him
like
too.
Knicks friendly contract of 3 million or 1.5. He's either one of those two.
Oh, they signed him?
Oh,
Archie Diacono, I think he got the contract last year, if I'm
yeah,
not mistaken.
yeah.
Yeah, he was signed last year.
Right.
So
The Knicks can
I,
waive him and free up money. I think
oh, they can waive him.
4
Okay.
million or something like that. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not.
from what I understand, JJ, he's healthy
he's
now.
healthy. Because to
Yeah,
me,
but he
like he's
was.
one.
I had him. I remember last year I had him on my fantasy team. I
Yes, you
picked him
did.
for my fantasy team, so I kept on looking, and it was like every time it
Mhm.
would be in color, it was bad news. It was like he's still
Because I
not
remember
right,
when you picked him, and we was like, "Yo, you
and
know you're
gave
hurt,
me the
right?"
business. But I did win
Yep.
Eros League.
Yeah, you
I
did.
did win Eros League, so I think it was more of that. I had like the Knicks problem where the last pick was the good enough pick to get somewhere because the guy before I picked was Trey Young,
Mm,
so I ended up going back to back big guys, and that was like I was done after that.
right. Right. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
he's
I wouldn't
balling.
mind taking a flyer on him, especially, like we said, Cam is 6'8", but his contract is coming up,
Hmm.
and we don't really have that length on as far as our wings are concerned, other than Cam.
Yeah, we get T.J. Warren though. Cam is out of here.
Right.
Yeah,
Cam is out. Like I hope everybody would know that. Like, there's no way he stays on the roster. So we'll be substituting 168 for another. Like he's not. We won't have both going forward. I don't think. If we get T.J. Warren, Cam wouldn't even want to be here for what? Like
What, you think he would beat him out?
what? Cam beat out T.J. Warren? No.
No, with TJ Warren. So,
Yeah,
okay.
T.J. Warren would beat him out just from his defense alone. He knows how to play. Like I think Cam will be done. We'll trade him. We'll have to.
Wow.
You wouldn't.
Well,
You wouldn't at least wait to make sure that T.J. Warren is going to be healthy.
Well, I don't mean like trade him in the beginning of the season. Like if we
Right.
sign TJ now, I'm talking about like by the trade deadline.
Right.
Because if you're not going to keep Cam and he's going to go be a restricted free agent, what's the point? It's going to be like another Mitch situation. Like, do you really want to get in that situation again? You might lose him for nothing, or you can, match contract that somebody could give him that we can't afford.
Right. Do you think there's any chance if the Knicks signed T.J. Warren, would there be any chance that they then move on from Fournier
No, I think they will move on from Cam. I think Fournier would just go to the bench and RJ would start at the two.
and Warren start at the 3?
hmm That would be my hope because I would want RJ. I want RJ at the two regardless,
Yeah.
and us to bring in a small forward if Cam can do it.
Mm.
So I would like a backcourt of Brunson and RJ as my backcourt going forward.
Right. Now RJ would have the advantage on offense, but on defense, chasing
Hmm.
them small, those shooting guards around, you don't think it's much different than
No,
him
yeah, yeah, it's different, but I would rather him go against them than some of the small forwards that he been. I understand RJ wants to be like a very very good defensive player, but he be getting cooked sometimes. Like them
See,
small forwards every night. Like I would rather him play the two. I think he will have more of an advantage on offense. Like
that's
he'll have a
I
disadvantage
think
on
I
defense.
disagree with that in the sense that
Okay.
if he gets cooked by the threes, imagine the twos that are out there that are gonna just blow by him. So I know it's a very unpopular take because I've said it before, but if RJ could start playing a little bit more of the four,
4.
um,
The
I would
four.
because he's not quick enough. Like he's good at guarding. Like you see when he guards like Kawhi, the stronger, the bigger, stronger guys. Like he can hold his own against guys like that. But if you put him against Mikal Bridges, like Mikal Bridges will just stand outside and pump fake him and then just drive to the basket on him the whole game. So it's just his quickness when this comes to me on his defense. I don't think he's a bad defender. I just don't think that he has the lateral movement to play against quick guys. I don't see him. And that's why he's saying he be getting cooked when he plays the small forwards because they're usually 3-and-D guys who are very agile. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, a lot of them shoot over him too, because like he's only
And
six
then
six six
he's
seven.
and then he's 6'6".
So that's a lot of big reason he be getting cooked too. But yeah, I can
right?
see like I don't know about him playing the four, but yeah, RJ can play multiple positions. But I'm just talking about like going forward.
Small ball 4 maybe.
Yeah, I can see small ball for like at spots, but to me, I think he's a two.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sharon,
What
I
about
think
you, Sim? Do you think he's a two at this point of his career, this young point of his career?
I mean, I think between the 2 and the 3 nowadays, it just seems like, and that's
Don't matter.
yeah,
Like
it
the
just
wing?
too much. Just wings. You know what I mean? You have 2 wings on opposite sides of the floor. Sometimes you have a wing like right now with RJ and Fournier. I don't really know who the 2 or the 3 is. You know what I mean? They just play. They're just out there. Fournier is more the guy that's going to be the flamethrower for you.
hmm
The knockdown 3-point shooter, run over screens and this and that. Well, RJ is going to be more the guy that has the ball in their hands and can break the defense down or maybe try to score a little bit in the post and do those type of things. Uh, so I just think I don't know if there's too much of a separation between the two positions. They both do a lot of similar things nowadays. The way back in the day, 20 years ago, it was like, hey, you're the small forward, you guard the small forward. You're the point guard, you guard this point guard.
True, true.
Now it's like they guard whoever they think is matched up best against the opposing player. You know what I mean? And I mean, look, we had a time when Kemba Walker was guarding. I forgot who it was, but he was guarding a center because the center wasn't someone who could score, and they had everybody else guarding all the other players. You know what I mean? So defenses do it differently now. So I don't know if it matters too much between who's a 2 and who's a 3.
because RJ didn't have a problem if he was playing the three and he was being guarded by threes. He didn't seem to have a problem getting to the hoop.
No,
He didn't seem to have a problem playing downhill at
That's true.
all.
yeah,
It was more about just finishing. And as the year went on, I thought he finished better at the rim than he did earlier in the season. I think
yeah.
Yo, I got
defensively having to guard the twos.
yeah, that's the problem.
That's tough, man. Right. You happen to chase those guys around.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I don't like that.
The only small guard that I see him play somewhat good defense against is Ja Morant, but I think that's a pride thing.
Man, right.
Right.
I was gonna say, there's another, like, we just signed Jalen Brunson, right? There's another lefty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
who's another lefty?
Who's
No.
that?
Mm.
Isaiah Hartenstein.
Yep.
Right. Is that a big deal? Like nobody says like when you have
No, I
like
don't
five
think it.
righties on the team, but
I don't. I
that's
like.
what
I
people are
think.
saying that we got too many.
Yeah, I don't know when people say, "Oh man, how are we gonna go out there with 4 lefties on the court?"
Yeah,
What's
it
what's
doesn't
Weird.
matter, bro.
matter?
I don't get it at all.
It doesn't really
Randall likes playing on the right side of the court anyway.
Mhm.
You know.
I mean, I just don't see where it matters. You just put guys, if the whole team was right-handed, it wouldn't matter.
Right. It's
Right.
just funny how we can probably like put a whole team out there of full lefties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now sometimes it used to be, at least, when I was coming up and playing ball, a lot of people would be like, "Oh, I hate guarding a left-handed person," because they're so used to guarding a right-handed player
Mhm.
that
Right.
guarding a left-handed player was a little bit awkward for them.
That's true.
You know,
After a couple minutes though, you still getting cooked. You was still just getting cooked though.
right?
Like, I don't care what hand he was in. Like,
Exactly. Right.
that's just an excuse.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. For sure. Um. Yeah. Any last words or anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here? I know Sim, you going on at 11 still.
Yeah, 11, maybe 11:30 now.
Okay.
Just so I can get some stuff together. I did have one question. If the Knicks did sign T.J. Warren,
Mhm.
where do you think that would put them now?
Is he
You mean
close
like
to
in
the
the
bubble?
standings?
He's close to how he
Close
played in
to
the
the
bubble.
bubble.
Because if he's close to how he
Yeah.
played in the bubble, that changes everything for us.
Yeah, we're good
I
then.
mean, he was. You got RJ at the 2, TJ Warren at the 3. See, I think when you have two-way players, when I look at Boston with Smart and Jalen Brown and Tatum, I think that's what made them tough.
Right.
Because they can hit the 3, play offense and defend. If we get that,
Yep. Yeah, we're a different
I would
team.
like that. I would love that.
That would be a
Yep.
different team. You know, I mean,
That's why we want all the young kids to actually pop, or at least some of them,
right?
because of that reason. Like Cam, for instance, Cam is perfect for that
Right.
team if he does what he's supposed to do and pop. Like he would be perfect to slide in at the 3 and do what I said. I have RJ at the 2, but that's up to him.
I I I had mentioned Cam the other day in this pod, and I was telling the guys in the panel that I thought that the Knicks viewed Cam more as a 4 than as a 3. You think that's true? Same.
That the Knicks view him as a 4. I don't know. I mean, I know he could play some 4, but I think they probably view him as a 3. Because he can handle the ball a little bit. I mean, your 3 traditionally is the guy that can kind of do it all. 6'8" can do it all. He can handle the ball a little bit. He can go in the post a little bit. He can he can distribute a little bit if you need him to. He can run the break. He can rebound. I kind of view him as that guy.
Yep. Cam can pretty much do it
But he
all.
can
I
play some
I
4.
view him as that guy too.
But he can
But
play
when
some.
I saw him play a lot of the 4 for us.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
wasn't that because Obi was injured?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man,
he was in. Yeah, it could be due to coincidence. Like I want to see what happens at the beginning of this year if he sticks. But he came injured, so he couldn't play off the bat. When he was ready to play, Obi got injured, so he stepped in for Obi. When Obi came back a couple of games later, he got injured and he was gone for the season.
Okay.
So this was a span of maybe 2 weeks that he played for us. I think that's all he played for us, really. It's about 6, 7, 8 games.
Yeah. Now, do they do medicals for free agents before they sign them, or you have to sign them first, or
Yeah. I don't know. That's a good question.
I don't know. To me, if you're smart, you should.
Right.
Right.
because if we can get TJ Warren and if it's a small investment, See if
I'm
he
looking for
sticks.
information.
That's
I'm
what
looking
he's
for
saying.
information as we speak right now on him
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
on his injuries. I can't find anything right now. I don't know if what's up with RotoWire, but it's not working right now. Just to see if there's any news, because
Hmm.
if he is the TJ Warren of old, like I would figured he would have gotten already a 2-year deal, you
Hmm.
know, a 2-year 13, 14, $15 million deal already just
Uh, but
because he is who he is. But
I think the idea, well, not the idea. I think the thing is because of his injuries, he's going to be a guy that you probably can get on the cheap. And so a lot of teams might be like, let's get the guys that are going to be coveted. Let's get these guys out the way, and then we can, try to make a run for TJ Warren because of the injury, right? So he might be one
Hmm.
of the last guys to go off the board.
Right. Let me read a few. This is as of 44 minutes ago. Would you be interested in bringing any of these guys in? Just someone that's available. TJ Warren, Jay Crowder, Montrez Harrell, Thomas Bryant, Whiteside, Ibaka, Markeith Morris, Aldridge, DeMarcus Cousin, Tristan Thompson. Are you interested in any of those guys?
No,
Jay Crowder, that's it. Why is he?
nah,
That's for trade though, no?
No free
nah. He a
agents.
free agent.
Jay Crowder is a free agent and he hasn't been picked up.
Yeah, like his game kind of declined a little bit this past season.
Nah, I think Crowder is still. I mean, I would take Crowder over T.J. Warren right now.
Really?
Definitely.
Wow.
Crowder over
Wow.
TJ Warren.
Well,
Yeah, I would
Crowder's
take
three
Crowder.
and D. I think Warman is a little more. His offense is a little more than that. If
Yeah, I
I'm
But
think
not
it
as a
depends
mistaken.
Nick,
on what you need.
as a Nick guy, I need that. That's what I need. Like I need perimeter defense. So that's why I'm more partial to him.
I
You
think
know what I'm
Warren
saying?
can get. I mean,
Warman's perimeter defense
yeah,
wasn't good.
it was good.
It was good.
Well, it
Hmm.
was.
Hmm.
No, I would definitely take Warren over Jay Crowder because I
Jay
think that
Crowder is
he has.
available, huh?
I think that he has. If I'm taking a chance on paying the guy $5 million or something like that, I think Warren would have the bigger upside of the two as far as what he can bring to the team. And possibly be your starting three man.
But guess what? What honestly though, we can keep both of them though. We'll we'll be straight with either one of them.
Yeah,
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 They would play.
right, right.
yeah,
They would definitely play.
I see Daji said we don't need any reclamation projects. The thing about it though is
yeah. We do.
you
Yeah,
don't,
we do.
yeah, and you don't. It's not like you would be moving any of your young guys to get him. So
Right.
you would be signing him, and if he works out, great. If he doesn't work out, then you didn't lose anything but some money. You know what I
I
mean?
I
And
really think fans are just scared that if we sign somebody, it's just taking away minutes from the young dudes.
right.
But if we sign somebody that's like that, if he could take minutes away from Obi, that means he should be taking minutes away from
Nah,
Obi.
Queen. I think Jay Crowder. He has he's still under contract this year.
With who?
Nah, it says unrestricted.
Yeah, he's a free agent. He's on the list.
2020. I'm here in sport rack.
Hmm.
He has 2022, 2023, $10 million contract still
With who?
with Phoenix. That's why I was taken aback when you said it because I was pretty sure that he was still with Phoenix.
I don't think
Okay.
so. Maybe it was a
He would have been snatched up already.
well,
Portland
it's
would
a
have snatched him up. Somebody would have snatched.
Miami was looking at him. Um, hmm, okay.
Right?
I don't.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. It says that yeah, he an unrestricted free agent next year. Like he making
Okay.
I'm looking now, he's
Yeah.
making 10 million next year. So yeah, he's still signed with Phoenix. So yeah, wow, because the list that I saw, he was on the list too.
He was
I
on the
saw the
list too
same
that
list
I saw.
that
Yeah.
saw.
Could it be somebody else? Oh, no, I
No,
don't
it
know.
was crowded. That list wrong then. Anyway, yeah, we'd be
Um,
say if he
oh,
was
he
on the
that's
market.
because he re-signed with Phoenix.
Oh, did he? Maybe that's what it was.
I think he no no no.
It doesn't
Yeah,
really. It doesn't
yeah,
really
it doesn't.
matter.
Yeah, but yeah, because on one list they have him as a free agent and as
But me personally, I would have figured him to be already signed at this point. Like he would have been one of the guys that you probably see on day two, definitely being signed.
right. So, what's your thoughts? And either one of these, I understand the thinking behind. Don't trade over young guys that you really don't bring in guys over young guys that you really believe in versus bring in the best players and let them fight it out. I don't know if there's any right or wrong answer to that. Like, if you really believe in Cam, would you even consider bringing in um, who we was just talking about, TJ
T.J.
Warren,
Warren.
knowing he might get beat out? If you really believe in Grimes, would you bring in, I don't know, whoever it is, knowing that they might beat Grimes out?
I think it
Um,
all depends on where you at as a team. I think that question could go either way. Like I don't think it's a wrong answer. I think it's situational. When it comes to us, where we're at, I could tell Tibbs wants to win. So yeah, bring in the best players and let them fight it out.
Yeah.
But if we were somebody like OKC isn't bringing in T.J. Warren to
beat
Right.
out,
fight for
right,
minutes for somebody else. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Like
Gotcha,
or Houston, somebody like that. Like I don't see it.
gotcha, gotcha. All
Yeah,
right,
I'm with Jarrell with that.
Yeah, but for us though,
depends on where you at. Yeah,
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 bring in T.J. Warren. I'm straight. Like Cam, that's on Cam to beat him out and get his contract and stuff.
Yeah,
I'm a Knicks
exactly. I'm
fan.
all for bringing the best players, let them battle it out. You know what I mean? Because I feel like if I bring in TJ Warren and Cam Reddish isn't good enough to take his spot, then
Right,
He's not good enough.
problem, or
right,
good enough to keep his spot, then that's a problem. He's not good enough.
right.
Mhm.
right,
You know what I'm
Warren
saying?
hasn't played in 2 years.
Right. Warren hasn't played in 2 years.
right,
You know what I mean?
right, right,
And if Cam Reddish ain't good enough to beat him out, then that's an issue.
right, right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, that's how I feel. You know, I bring in the players, let them battle it out. Especially a guy like T.J. Warren. You know, it's easy to say, you know, we're gonna waive you, let you go someplace else. It's easy to do that if it's not worth it, and you're
Mhm.
not gonna, you know, it's not a risk to your team.
Right. Yeah. Any last words?
Good,
I
great
just,
show. Another great show.
right,
Thank you
right.
for again for this invite, Steph. On
Of
my
course.
first Friday night Knicks show.
Right, right, right.
I mean, this is dope, man. This is the first Friday
Right.
night. It was
It's
cool.
not Tuesday. Don't get up to go to work
I
tomorrow.
know, right? No, you ain't gonna worry about that. I turned that alarm off my phone this morning. Like that's not happening tomorrow.
I mean, me, I just, I appreciate you guys. Like I said at the beginning, I just wanted to show my support for you, Steph.
I
Um,
appreciate it.
it took me a minute, but I'm finally here. Took me a minute to get to you, but I'm finally here, and wanted to show my support. Always talk Knicks, and just appreciate you letting me on your platform and give you
Definitely.
my take.
Anytime you want to come on, we're on usually Tuesdays at 9. So anytime you're available, you can definitely come on.
No doubt.
Yeah, definitely. Sh- Shout out. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, Steph, I appreciate it.
Of course.
You know, always look forward to coming on. I know be coming on late at the basketball practice and stuff like that, but always look forward to coming on.
I appreciate you even coming on. You could just be listen. I need to eat and prepare for my own show. I ain't even coming on.
Right?
So I,
It's
I
been a minute
definitely,
since I've been on the same panel with you, Sam, man. It's
Yeah, I
been a
know,
minute.
man. Yeah,
yeah, that's true.
yeah.
Yeah, I
It's always fun
appreciate the
talking to you
chat.
guys.
Um, I D Graybeard, Rayology, Pudge Nice, Agi, Jarrell, of course.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I'll be all in
Sh-
the chat talking.
Sherwin M.
My bad.
Yes, Sherwin. Hit them likes on your way out. 86. We got 86 watching. I appreciate you. Sherwin. Oh yeah, OG. Yeah, we didn't even get to him. Maybe
OG.
the next time we could talk
See,
We
about
got to
he,
talk
OG.
about him.
see,
We got to
that's a
talk
different
about him.
conversation now. Know what I'm
Is he
saying?
available?
Huh?
Okay.
Is he available?
Yeah.
They say he unavailable. Yeah.
Appreciate you, Ron.
Wow.
Another way Cam getting out of here. Like,
He's another two-way
He's somebody. He's
two-way
somebody I
player.
might think about throwing some picks at. He's somebody, but I got to see what the deal is. Why Toronto's? There's just some turmoil there, and I need to know what it is.
yeah.
If it's
I think it's
organizational, then probably I could deal with it. If it's him, I got this.
I think he's just losing time. Siakam is back. They drafted Scotty Barnes. He was injured. Then I think by the time he came back, the rotation was pretty set. He had a hard time getting minutes. So how tall is he? I mean, I wouldn't mind RJ and OG Anobi. That's
OG
not
what?
bad.
That'd be nice, huh?
They get OG like 6'8", 6'9".
Oh no, don't tell me that.
Yeah, he about 6'8".
Yeah, go be so.
Nah.
Oh, he's 6'7". I got 6'7" right here. But he's only 24 years old, so yes. Cam will have a problem with him too. Like Cam be out of here.
Wow.
He only 24.
Yeah, then we need to be look. If everybody we talk about would beat Cam would beat Cam out, you know what I mean? Like, what are we
Dude, like
doing?
OG
We
on
say,
the
yeah, he became.
I'm saying, hey man, we gotta talk the truth. As much as I like Cam, we gotta talk the truth. Like OG only 24, man. Like he turned 25 soon, so he'll be 25. So he right in there with Brunson in that timeline.
Mm.
25 years old.
Anyway,
Yeah, man. That's
I
bad, man.
appreciate everybody for rocking with us. We'll be back Tuesday, 9 o'clock. All right. Everybody have a good
Appreciate
weekend.
Stephanie.
Nothing but
All right, guys.
Knicks at 11:30.
30.
If you still up, I'm gonna go get me some tea. I'm gonna try to stay up because
No,
around
right.
11 o'clock.
I might need
I'm,
some coffee.
I'm gonna-
Sitting wilding.
you know, I'm gonna try.
Late shift.
To make it. I appreciate you guys.
All right, take it easy, guys.